Beginning with a gentle golden wind and light rain, the master of ceremonies, with a single stroke, surprises the world. This video is purely for entertainment, and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting, and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 876, Dragon Soul Sword, Iron Blood Dragon Soul, a drop of immortal golden body blood. Chuan Fang sir, you. The purple-skirted woman's expression changed when she saw Mirang Xiaonan returning. At this moment, Mirang Xiaonan exuded a fierce murderous intent, and there was a hint of scarlet in his eyes. It made her a little scared. It's nothing serious. I was poisoned by the heart-eating powder of the concubine Yan Ruxu. Mirang Xiaonan said in a deep voice. Heart-eating powder. Hearing Mirang Xiaonan's words, the purple-skirted woman frowned. Heart-eating powder is a kind of poison that can increase people's murderous intent. The more people you kill, the stronger the murderous intent. The more blood you see, the more it can make the warrior fall into a state of madness. Kill everyone you see in front of you. Prepare a secret room for me. I will suppress the murderous intent caused by this heart-eating powder. Mirang Xiaonan said. Upon hearing this, the purple-skirted woman immediately took Mirang Xiaonan into a secret room. In the secret room, Mirang Xiaonan sat cross-legged, and the murderous intent on his body gradually disappeared. After a while, Mirang Xiaonan opened his eyes, and the murderous intent on his body and the scarlet in his eyes disappeared. But his brows were furrowed. This incident made him a little confused. The loss of 3 heavenly evils was just to make himself poisoned by the heart-eating powder. This kind of poison can be eliminated in a few days, if it is suppressed. What is this heavenly concubine doing? Is she targeting me, Mirang Xiaonan, or is she doing something else? Mirang Xiaonan was confused. Although he was poisoned by the heart-eating powder, his killing intent would increase if he attacked in a short period of time, but it would not affect his combat power. If heavenly concubine Yan Ruxu wanted to deal with him, she would not use such means. This made Mirang Xiaonan unable to guess why heavenly concubine Yan Ruxu did so for a while. Another place in a separate courtyard. Heavenly concubine and others returned. Beaming, have the other 3 heavenly evils been arranged? Heavenly concubine Yan Ruxu looked at Qin beaming and said. They have all been controlled by my subordinates, and can be dispatched at any time. Then you go, and recover from your injuries first. Tomorrow night, we will massacre the Mirang family. Heavenly concubine Yan Ruxu said in a deep voice. Yes. Qin beaming bowed and left. Congratulations to heavenly concubine. After Qin beaming left, Madame Linglong, who came with her, congratulated the heavenly concubine. The strength of the 3 heavenly evils was damaged back then. Although they have stepped into the sea again to concentrate their minds in recent years, their divine power is a little weak. They didn't cause any injuries to Mirang Xiaonan. The original plan was that the 3 of them would fight to the death and at least hurt Mirang Xiaonan, but there was no injury at all. The heavenly concubine shook her head. How is the investigation going on with the earth concubine, the 2 left and right envoys, and the 3 Dharma protectors? The heavenly concubine Yan Ruxu asked in a deep voice. I have found some information about the earth concubine and the left envoy Yang Baron, but not about the others for the time being. Madame Linglan replied. The demon sect was a form of alliance back then. The demon master Lu Junsheng unified the top demon forces in the world with his own strength, and was called the leader of the demon sect. In addition to the leader, there are the 2 heavenly concubines, the internal and external generals, the 2 left and right envoys, the 3 Dharma protectors, the 4 heavenly evils, and the affiliated demon sect forces. The heavenly concubine is the leader of the heavenly demon sect, and the earth concubine is the leader of the earth demon sect. They are the 2 strongest demon sect forces in the demon sect. The internal and external stewards are the relationship figures who coordinate the major affiliated forces. The left and right envoys follow Lu Junsheng, the 3 guardians, and the 4 heavenly demons are Lu Junsheng's generals. But Lu Junsheng fought against Emperor Zhao. He was defeated. He died at the hands of Emperor Zhao. The demon sect, which was originally an alliance, collapsed in an instant. Because no one can reach Lu Junsheng's status in the demon sect. Where is the earth concubine now? Heaven concubine Yanruxu asked the earth concubine first. In the past, the two were called the heaven and earth concubines. In the demon sect, except for the leader, they have the highest status. At such a high level, there must be competition between them. The earth concubine is now the wife of Huangfu Fiang, the Huangfu family. Madame Linglan replied. Huangfu Fiang's wife. Huangfu Fiang is the number one master of the Huangfu family. How could she become Huangfu Fiang's wife? Heaven concubine Yanruxu frowned. In this case, dealing with the earth concubine may lead to a conflict with the Huangfu family. The heaven concubine Yanruxu frowned slightly. Have the forces of the earth demon sect now submitted to the Huangfu family? Yanruxu then asked. The people of the earth demon sect have hidden, but we have found some people who are indeed hiding in the area controlled by the Huangfu family. The earth demon sect should be related to the Huangfu family, said Madame Linglang. Where is the left envoy Yang Baron? Now he is using the alias Jinbi Wang, and is one of the two great gods under the leader of the Jiangnan Water Alliance, Tuoba Han. Tuoba Han's men. Hearing this, Yanruxu frowned slightly. If I have time, I will go to contact him in person. There is no need to investigate the others for the time being. This time, the Mirren family will be destroyed, and my demon sect will be born. They should appear one after another, and we will naturally be able to find them at that time. Go and adjust your breath first. There will be a big battle tomorrow. After Yanruxu finished speaking, she went to a house. In the room Yanruxu opened a secret door and walked into a secret room. In the secret room, there was a portrait. In the middle of the portrait was a man in purple and gold clothes. He was extremely majestic and could be seen as a leader at a glance. The man in the clothes looked only about 30 years old. He had a handsome figure and a lively look in his eyes. Although it was a painting, it revealed a flash of lightning. You will never forget it after just one look. This person was the leader of the demon sect, Lu Junsheng. Below the portrait of Lu Junsheng, there was a blood-colored bead. The bead exuded a trace of blood and a fluctuation of spiritual power. Yanruxu glanced at the person in the portrait, and a trace of tenderness appeared in her eyes. The two concubines of heaven and earth are called concubines. Whose concubines are they? Needless to say, they are the concubines of the leader of the demon sect, Lu Junsheng. Although Lu Junsheng has never admitted it himself. But from the status, it can be seen that these two people have a relationship with Lu Junsheng. Yanruxu retracted her gaze and came to the blood bead. It is very difficult to evolve a trace of soul from mental power, but I found a way in the arsenal of the great Zhao dynasty. Sacrifice with blood, condense the blood soul, and integrate the mental power into the blood soul, and you will be able to generate consciousness. At that time, the blood soul will take over the body and you can be resurrected again. Yanruxu touched the blood-colored bead in front of her and murmured. At the same time, Mirren Villa. Chen walked out of the library and exhaled a long breath. A satisfied look appeared on his face. The Mirren Villa library was indeed extraordinary. Not only did it have many ancient books, but even the destroyed Great Chu dynasty had many banned books at that time. One day, Chen gained a lot. He now has 10 orange lottery cards. Draw 5 cards first to see your luck. Get the exclusive character of Dragon Soul Sword Ban Xian Yu. Get a wisp of the residual soul of the Iron Blood Dragon Soul that can be integrated into Taizan Tang's Iron Blood Banner. Get a drop of Immortal Golden Body Blood exclusive character Gu Santong. Get 5 bottles of Xian Randan and get 1 card for the comprehension of the Sword Spirit Breaking Body. Chapter 877. Xian Fei invites. Killing is coming. Ban Xian Yu is lucky to have obtained the Dragon Soul Sword. Chen looked at the Dragon Soul Sword, which is a low-grade spiritual weapon. A wisp of the Iron Blood Dragon Soul was integrated into Taizan Tang's Iron Blood Banner, so Taizan Tang's strength will probably be further improved. Taizan Tang's divine power is related to the Iron Blood Banner. When the Iron Blood Banner is upgraded, he will be fed back, so his strength will definitely be further improved. Gu Santong got a drop of Immortal Golden Body Blood. Gu Santong himself knows the Vajra indestructible divine art. If he refines all of this drop of blood, it may be difficult for Shineman to hurt him. As for the sword key breaking body art, Chen kept it for himself and comprehended it himself, which can also increase his strength. Just thinking about drawing the other 5 orange lottery cards. At this time, Yuan Suan came to Su Chen. My lord, I just got a message that Mireng Xianen, the head of the Mireng family, is Xian, one of the 4 general envoys of the Xian GNC Jiangnan. Mireng Xianen killed 3 of the 4 great Xianxia of the demon sect outside the city today. Yuan Suan said softly. Mireng Xianen is one of the 4 general envoys of the Xianjian division in Jiangnan. Su Chen was a little surprised to hear this. The Xianjian division has 4 general envoys in Jiangnan. Sima Changhan in the past and Mireng Xianen now are not simple characters. It is rumored that the heavenly concubine of the demon sect, the most beautiful woman in the world, the leader of the heavenly demon sect, Yan Ruxu, was captured by Xian, one of the 4 general envoys of the Xianjian division in Jiangnan, and presented to Emperor Zhao. Yuan Suan said, is the demon sect going out this time for Mireng Xianen? It shouldn't be. After so many years, if the demon sect wanted to take action, they wouldn't have waited until now. Su Chen frowned slightly. According to the news, the heavenly concubine Yan Ruxu has escaped from the Emperor Zhao's palace, and now seems to be integrating the power of the demon sect. It is vaguely rumored that the heavenly concubine is in Sucheng. Yuan Suan said. Is that so? It seems that the Mireng family is not peaceful. Let's wait for another day tomorrow. It's almost over. The matter between the demon sect and the Mireng family has nothing to do with us. Su Chen said. He just came to read books, but he didn't want to get involved in the feud between the Mireng family and the demon sect. Whether the Mireng family lived or died had nothing to do with him. Young Master Su, here is a letter for you. At this time, a servant came trotting over and handed Su Chen a letter. A letter for me? Su Chen frowned slightly. He took the envelope from the other party. Check it out. Tomorrow evening, please invite young Master Su to the pavilion of Kayanau Lake for a chat. Under the words, there is a snowflake symbol. The handwriting was beautiful and there was a lingering fragrance. It was written by a woman. He handed the letter to Yuan Suan. After reading it, Yuan Suan put the secret letter away. The two walked towards the small courtyard that Mirankin had arranged earlier. Once they entered the small courtyard, who do you say invited me to the pavilion of Kayanau Lake for a chat? Su Chen sat in a pavilion in the courtyard and spoke. From the handwriting and the snowflake symbol, I guess it should be the heavenly concubine of the demon sect. I have investigated this heavenly concubine of the demon sect. Her name is Yan Ruxu. Yuan Suan said softly. What do you think the heavenly concubine wants to see me for at this time? Su Chen couldn't help but ask. I'm afraid she doesn't want us, Qinglang society, to get involved in the feud between them and the Mireng family. Yuan Suan said in a deep voice. Is that so? Then tomorrow night, we will go to see this heavenly concubine. What's the situation with the Mireng family? It's normal for the time being, there is no change. Yuan Suan said. While talking, Yuan Suan poured a cup of tea for Su Chen. When Su Chen touched the tea, his expression was slightly condensed. This water is poisonous. Su Chen put down the teacup in his hand and said in a deep voice. Poison. Yuan Suan was stunned when he heard this. He carefully checked, but did not find anything abnormal. Then he checked the true energy in his body and did not find anything abnormal. His face became solemn. Su Chen inherited Wang Lianhua's treasure mirror. He was not as good at poison. So when Su Chen said that the tea was poisonous, it must be poisonous. But he didn't notice it at all. This poison is not simple. Although I can see that the tea is poisonous, what is the specific poison? I still need to study it. Su Chen reached out and touched the tea in the teacup. Discovered a colorless and tasteless one that can make people unable to use their true ki after the hour of Hay. After the hour of Hay, the true ki slowly recovers. It has no other use. For those who are above the Danshan Hay, the effect is minimal. An orange lottery card is awarded. At this time, the system came with a long explanation. This is another function of the system that Su Chen discovered on himself. No need to investigate. This thing is not very harmful. It's just that you can't use your true ki at midnight tomorrow, but it has little effect on those who are at Danshan Hay or above. After midnight, the true ki will slowly recover. Combined with the invitation I just received, it seems that the heavenly consort of the demon sect will attack Mireng Villa tomorrow. Su Chen said. You can't use your true ki at midnight, which means that at that time, the Mirren family will have no other combat power, except the main combat power. In this case, I'm afraid there will be a river of blood in Mirren Villa. Yuan Suan said, this is not something we should ask about. The other party invited us to leave just to avoid us. They left us some room, so we should just pretend we don't know about this matter. Go and see this heavenly consort of the demon sect tomorrow evening. Su Chen said. Of course, Su Chen no longer has this poison detoxification pill at the moment. Identification is possible. Cracking is not that easy. There is poison in the water. I'm afraid many people in the Mirren family have been poisoned by it now. However, this poison has little effect on warriors at or above the Danshan who are high level. I don't know what the other party's purpose is. Dada. At this time, there was a knock on the door. Come in. Su Chen said. Mirrenkin walked in. Young Master Su, it's almost dinner time. I came to see if you need anything. Mirrenkin said. I like the meals at the White Sparrow Tower in the city recently. The former manager will arrange it, so you don't have to arrange it for me. Su Chen said. Knowing that there is a problem with the drinking water in Mirren Villa now, Su Chen will definitely not eat the meals at Mirren Villa. Because he knows this poison, but there may be other more powerful poisons. Sometimes, you can't underestimate the master of poison. Hearing this, Mirrenkin was stunned, and then thought of something, and his face looked a little bad. My Mirren family has already received you so well, but you are still so cautious. Underestimate my Mirren family. He was a little unhappy. Then I won't bother young Master Su anymore. Mirrenkin had come with good intentions, but since Su Chen didn't accept it, she wouldn't stay here. Looking at Mirrenkin leaving, Su Chen shook his head. The next day before dusk, Su Chen walked out of the Mirren family library. My lord, the carriage is ready. We can set off for Kyanau Lake now. Yuan Suan said. Let's go. Su Chen glanced at the setting sun and walked out of Mirren Villa with Yuan Suan. I hope Mirren Villa will still be there when I come back. Inside the villa, Mirrenkin appeared in the main hall. Su Chen left the villa. Mirren Xiaonan asked with some doubts. Yes, someone came to the manor to deliver a letter to him yesterday. I'm afraid he went out today for the letter yesterday. Should father send someone to keep an eye on him? Mirrenkin said. No, we should focus on the demon sect's heavenly concubine, Yang Ruxu. Although I don't understand what she is planning, I have a hunch that she will definitely take action against our Mirren family, so the Mirren family should be more vigilant recently. Mirren Xiaonan said in a deep voice. It's almost done. I guess I can continue to update more next Monday. Chapter 878. The Yin Yang sect Zeduo Wu Dao appears. Outside the Great Wall, a figure in a black robe was walking on the Gobi Desert. He was heading towards the Xianshan Mountains. The scorching sun caused layers of heat waves to rise on the Gobi Desert. These layers of heat waves formed ripples and swept towards the other party, but when they approached the other party, they were sucked into the body by an invisible force and disappeared. The man looked indifferent, with a trace of unwillingness in his eyes. He held a long knife in his hand. Visible sword energy permeated his palm. Xianaya Pavilion, Dodge, you are blocking my way. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been interrupted and come here. The man stopped and looked at the Xianshan Mountains not far away, with endless murderous intent in his eyes. This person was sent by the saint of Yin Yang sect, named Zeduo Wu Dao. Although his name is Zeduo Wu Dao, his famous unique skill is a red sun and red hot sword technique. In order to break through the realm of transformation, he secretly killed hundreds of women in the sect and absorbed their true yin, so that his yin and yang could be balanced and he could enter the realm of transformation. Normal dual cultivation would not be taken seriously by the Yin Yang sect. However, killing people and stealing true yin was a serious crime in the Yin Yang sect, and the person would be deprived of his cultivation and sent to the Yin Yang Valley to become a slave of Dan. Zeduo Wu Dao was very secretive in his actions, but somehow the Saint Zhu Liling knew about it. Zhu Liling threatened him with this. She asked him to come here and help her do something. As long as this thing was done, she would not only help him cover up those things, but also give him a yin yang holy fruit. Come here. He must abolish the cultivation of the realm of transformation that he had just entered with great effort. Otherwise, he would be blasted into slag by the lightning, left in this world by the Thunder Emperor, before he even arrived here. The yin-yang holy fruit could help him restore his cultivation, and allow him to enter the realm of transformation again. At that time, he would enter the realm of transformation normally. Of course, even if he lost a layer of his cultivation, he would still be in danger when he crossed over. When he arrived here, he was also seriously injured. Xianmen, sometimes it is easier to go out than to come back. During this period of time, he recovered some strength and learned about the situation of Xianshan sect at that time. He knew that Xianshan sect was killed by the people of the East Pavilion of Xianaya Pavilion. As soon as he recovered from his injuries, he came to Xianshan sect. It is rumored that the master of the East Pavilion of Xianaya Pavilion has invincible defense. I wonder if he can block my sword. Zeduo Wudeo touched the long sword in his hand and said coldly. Although his cultivation was cut off, he believed in his sword. There were not many people in this world who could catch it. Keep moving forward soon. He appeared at the foot of Xianshan Mountain. This is the East Pavilion of Xianaya Pavilion. Who are you? Several figures walked out of the dark. Swish. Zeduo Wudeo raised his right hand, and the invisible sword energy burst out from his palm. A hot sword light came out of his hand. The few people who appeared screamed under this sword light, and their bodies exploded. Zeduo Wudeo did not change at all, and continued to move forward. Along the way, he did not draw his sword, but the sword in his hand was invincible. Xianshan East Pavilion Hall. Gu Santong sat on the main chair. Guanqi and Zhu Washi sat on the left and right sides below. Zhu Washi was on the left, Guanqi was on the right. Below Zhu Washi were 3 secret agents, and below Guanqi was Ban Xianayu. In addition to unifying the frontier, under Zhu Washi's jurisdiction, all the surrounding small forces were gradually incorporated into their East Pavilion. Report. A disciple of the East Pavilion quickly entered the hall. Master, I don't know if the famous swordsman is almost outside the hall. The disciple reported. The other party has been killing all the way here. Very strong, but I don't know what background he has to dare to break into my Xianaya Pavilion, East Pavilion. Gu Santong said. Master, leave this matter to me. Guanqi stood up and said. Guanqi, whose strength has greatly increased, wanted to find someone to fight. So he asked for a fight. Then this matter will be handed over to Brother Guanqi. Brother Xianayu, you will go with Deputy Pavilion Master Guanqi. Good people don't come, and those who come are not good. The other party dared to come. It must be not simple. So he asked Guanqi to take action. Guanqi got the supreme hegemon blood, and his strength has been further improved. Purely relying on attack power, his innate invisible sword energy is extremely sharp. Ban Xianayu's golden Buddha indestructible body, the defense is similar to his Vajra indestructible divine art, and it can also block the change. There is a letter from the master. Ban Xianayu's dragon soul sword is on the way, and Ban Xianayu's strength will also increase greatly by then. Unlike the skills, it can be infused through the air. Small things, such as a drop of blood, are placed in a special container and transmitted by some flying birds. The dragon soul sword is too big and can only be sent by people. Brother Guanqi, killing the enemy is not the purpose. We need to know who this person is. Zhu Wusi said. The enemy is not important. What is important is to know who the enemy is. Brother Zhu, don't worry, I will ask who the other party is. Guanqi said. After saying that, he started to move. Ban Xianayu also stood up and walked out of the hall. Gu Santong and Zhu Wusi did not move. Xianaya Pavilion, East Pavilion, outside the mountain gate. Zeduo Wudeo looked at the 2 lines of words separated by an X in front of him. Xianaya Pavilion and East Pavilion. He did not hide himself when he went up the mountain. He killed the disciples of the East Pavilion along the way. The ordinary disciples of the East Pavilion were no match for him, so Gu Santong had ordered not to stop him. After he stepped on the door plaque, his eyes condensed slightly. He looked up at the 2 figures walking towards him. One of the figures looked at him coldly, and a terrifying sword energy emanated from his body. Well, sword energy, Wujian. Zeduo Wudeo is a master of swordsmanship. Although he is not very good at swordsmanship, he can sense the sword energy on the other party. But he does not have a sword. As for the other person, he is wearing a mask. When the two people appeared, Zeduo Wudeo's eyes did not change at all. His right hand continued to rise. Boom. A sword light like the sun appeared in his arm, and it blasted towards Guan Qi like a flame. Guan Qi's eyes condensed, and his fist blasted out. The innate invisible sword energy condensed on his fist. The sword energy rushed out, and collided with the flame sword light. Seeing Guan Qi punching, and the sword energy bursting out, Zeduo Wudeo's palm instantly chopped out 3 sword energies in succession. Guan Qi did not hesitate and punched out, and the sword energy burst out. Boom. 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 A shocking explosion sounded, like the anger of Thor, deafening. You have some strength. Seeing Guan Qi blocking his 3 moves, Zeduo Wudeo's eyes condensed slightly, revealing a serious look. Are you Gusantang or Zhu Washi? Zeduo Wudeo looked at Guan Qi and said, Xianaya Pavilion East Pavilion. He investigated and found that there were 2 powerful people. One was the pavilion master Gusantang, and the other was Zhu Washi. As for the others, they were ignored. HMPH, I'm Guan Qi, the deputy pavilion master of Xianaya Pavilion, East Pavilion. Guan Qi snorted coldly. Guan Qi, deputy pavilion master, I'll kill you with 1 sword, and then kill the others. Guan Qi is a deputy pavilion master, and that's his target. I've determined the target. Then I'll kill him. Zeduo Wudeo's eyes burst with murderous intent. He had to complete the mission and return as soon as possible, otherwise, he would have to make up for his broken foundation. Zeduo Wudeo held the hilt of the knife with his right hand. At this moment, a terrifying sword intent condensed on the opponent. As this sword intent came out, a strong fluctuation appeared in the surrounding space. With the appearance of the fluctuation, invisible energy swept around like a storm. In an instant, the sky and the earth were surging with wind and clouds, and the momentum was mighty. Chapter 879, The Power of a Trace of Domain. Guan Qi's fierce nature bursts out, stepping into the sky gate. Zeduo Wudeo hated the East Pavilion of Xianaya Pavilion. If it hadn't been for the East Pavilion of Xianaya Pavilion destroying the Xiantian sect, he wouldn't have been targeted by the same girl, and he wouldn't have cut off his cultivation and come here. He was unwilling to give up, and he had only 1 word to kill. He held the long sword in his hand, and slashed it out. Boom. In the sky, the air exploded, and a huge flame sword light appeared, slashing towards Guan Qi. You don't have the qualifications to kill me. Who is Guan Qi? He is a hero, fighting against all the heroes in the world alone. The opponent's sword intent made him feel a sense of pressure, but if he wanted to kill him, such sword intent was not enough. A cruel light appeared in his eyes. The innate invisible sword energy in his body condensed. Boom. Divine power broke out. Divine power. Genki demon shadow Guan Qi broke out his new divine power. A terrifying black figure appeared behind him, and countless Genki permeated the figure. The Genki was rampant, and the space around the shadow was cut. Guan Qi previously completed his initial divine power invisibility, and wanted to make himself invisible to increase the lethality of the invisible sword energy. But after he took the supreme tyrant blood sent by Chen, Guan Qi's body underwent some changes. He directly shattered the invisible divine power that he had initially condensed, and with his body as a core, he condensed such divine power, the Genki demon shadow. He used himself as a carrier, and endless sword energy. The divine power burst out, and his hands were filled with invisible sword energy. Looking at the falling flame knife, Guan Qi's face was ferocious, and his 2 palms closed, and 2 huge sword energies appeared in his hands. He caught the falling flame blade light, and at the moment of catching it, the invisible sword energy rushed into the blade light. Bang! The huge white flame blade light burst at this moment. Using your body to concentrate your mind. You are actually from the tyrant body extreme Dale lineage. I didn't expect that there would be a martial arts master like you in this world. Looking at the divine power bursting out of Guan Qi, Zeduo Wudeo's face showed surprise. In this world, you came from the heavenly gate. You are here to avenge Huo Mufeng. Guan Qi looked at the other party and said coldly. Hearing Guan Qi's words, Zeduo Wudeo's expression condensed. He didn't expect that the other party knew that he was here to avenge Huo Mufeng. Since you know, why dare you kill him? Zeduo Wudeo said coldly. Kill him. The reason is very simple. That is because he is weak. If you are strong, you can kill me as well. Guan Qi's face was very calm. Hearing Guan Qi's words, Zeduo Wudeo's expression condensed. Although the other party's words were cruel, the rules above were like this. If the saint was not stronger than him, why would he cut off his foundation and be forced to come here? You are very suitable for shaman, but it's a pity that people like you will die under my knife today. Zeduo Wudeo sighed. Guan Qi's strength is not ordinary, but he will die under his knife. Although his realm has fallen, he is still the one who took that step. After the divine power, there is the transformation domain. The transformation domain is to form a domain with one's own divine power. The power of the domain is stronger than the divine power, and it is generally pulled into the domain. If you want to break through, you must have a domain, or tear it apart with a power more terrifying than the domain. Otherwise, there is only death in it. Of course, people who can do this must have strong bloodline power. Zeduo Wudeo's realm fell, and his domain was gone, but he could still use the momentum to create the power of the domain. At that time, Guan Qi could only let him slaughter him. This is why he was chosen by the Saint Zuliling, because people with a trace of the domain sometimes represent an invincibility in this world. While speaking, the breath of his figure changed. An invisible force permeated Zeduo Wudeo's body, and this breath overflowed. Guan Qi was stunned, and he felt a terrifying breath appearing around him. His eyes became dignified, and his mind sensed. Boom. At this time, a force enveloped him. I cut off my cultivation and came here. I have no divine power, but I still have a trace of the power of the domain. Zeduo Wudeo said in a low voice. Although it is only a trace, it can restrict you and make you unable to do anything. You can only watch me kill you with one knife. Domain. Guan Qi's eyes condensed. The sword energy on his body burst out, but before the sword energy he burst out left, it was pressed back into his body by a force. Divine power. Guan Qi shouted. The divine power appeared, but it dissipated in an instant. When he burst out the power around him instantly increased. Suddenly, Guan Qi's whole body seemed to be carrying a huge mountain, extremely heavy. Boom. The whole body was bent by the pressure. The ground under his feet cracked, and huge cracks appeared one after another. There was a crackling sound, and the stones broke and collapsed. The remaining domain is so powerful. Guan Qi was horrified and wanted to use his own power to resist, but the pressure was getting greater and greater. With such power, why didn't Xianmen appear? Guan Qi shouted. This trace of domain power of mine is not a domain, and it does not have a strong destructive power. It is just suppression, so Xianmen can't sense it. Zeduo Wudeo spoke with his hand on the hilt. Before you die, you can feel a trace of my domain power. It's worth it. A hot sword intent appeared on Zeduo Wudeo's body. The sword intent instantly locked onto Guan Qi. A feeling of extreme danger appeared in Guan Qi's mind. Roar. At the critical moment, Guan Qi suddenly roared loudly, like a terrifying beast suddenly revived. Boom. The blood and Qi in his body burst out, and the supreme hegemon blood that had previously merged into his body began to circulate. When this blood and Qi power burst out, a trace of will with the supreme hegemon blood appeared, shattering the suppression of this trace of domain. Bang. The suppression that had previously enveloped Guan Qi collapsed. How is this possible? Zeduo Wudeo, who was about to draw his sword, saw this situation and his eyes became gloomy. At this moment, because of the rapid flow of the supreme hegemon blood, Guan Qi's body shape changed, and his whole body swelled up, turning into a 5-meter tall man, with muscles bulging all over his body, and his eyes became like a bloodthirsty beast. Because there was no domain suppression, the invisible sword energy in his body flowed out, forming a black sword energy that permeated his body. Blood, fierceness, you have blood power. How is this possible? This place has been excavated for so long. How can there be someone with blood power? You are someone above Xianmen. Zeduo Wudeo's pupils dilated and he growled. But Guan Qi did not reply to him. He raised his palm and brought it down. Black sword energy condensed in his palm and then swarmed out. Red sun flame slash. Zeduo Wudeo drew his sword, and the sword light in his hand turned into a hot sword flame, which burst out instantly. It collided with the sword energy, and the sword energy and sword light disappeared. but Guan Qi appeared in front of Zeduo Wudao in one step. Zeduo Wudao's face changed. He wanted to retreat violently, but Guan Qi's palm turned into a devil's claw with sword energy and grabbed him. The speed was so fast that he could only use his sword to resist, but endless sword energy burst out from all parts of Guan Qi's body. Swish, swish. After a moment, several scars appeared on Zeduo Wudao's body, and blood flowed. If I continue like this, I will die. I will burst out with my shattering power and kill him. Zeduo Wudao growled in his heart. If he burst out with all his power, it would still trigger the heavenly gate. He could only leave. If he didn't leave, he would not be able to leave later. But if he didn't use all his strength now, he would still die. Compared to death, there is still hope in living. It's just that Guan Qi was one step ahead of him and forced the drop of supreme hegemon blood in his body to circulate. He has the golden plum bottle as long as he doesn't die. Boom. The shadow of the heavenly gate appeared. Guan Qi's speed suddenly turned into a residual image and appeared in front of the opponent. His palm hit the opponent's chest. The endless sword energy broke the opponent's ki and rushed into the opponent's body. Zeduo Wudao didn't expect this to happen. The opponent was more ruthless than him. He looked at Guan Qi with a distracted look. Boom. A thunderbolt fell down. Guan Qi burst out all his strength and gathered it in his fist. He punched out and shattered the thunderbolt. His figure rushed to the heavenly gate. The heavenly gate that Zeduo Wudao just mentioned made him yearn for it. That was the place for martial arts masters. He wants to use this to enter the heavenly gate. Ruthless man. Looking at Guan Qi leaving, Zeduo Wudao could only think so in his heart. His body slowly fell down. This Ariang, one after another at home, still have to wear a mask. Chapter 880, Lei Buhu, one of the four envoys, Yeluo, takes action. Sunset, Mirren Villa. A breeze appeared slowly, and the cool breeze spread throughout the manor. In a study, Mirren Xiaonan looked at the secret report in his hand and fell into deep thought. A sword master named Zizia Feng appeared in the Qinglan Club, who defeated Huang Fu Tiance with one sword and took the blood dragon pillar from Huang Fu Tiance. Huang Fu Tiance is the second best master of the Huang Fu family, but he was defeated by this new sword master from the Qinglan Club. Where did the Qinglan Club get so many masters? Mirren Xiaonan murmured. The secret report did not record the scene of the battle in detail, but it recorded that a sword light fell. Huang Fu Tiance was defeated. After the defeat, Huang Fu Tiance handed the blood dragon pillar to Zizia Feng. The blood dragon pillar is Zhu Yun's weapon. It is rumored that one needs to practice Zhu Yun's skills to use the blood dragon pillar. It seems that this Qinglan society should not want the weapon themselves, otherwise they would not spare Huang Fu Tiance's life. In the secret report, Huang Fu Tiance was defeated with a sword, but he did not die. Could it be that the remnants of the Great Chu entrusted it? But isn't the Hanyu sect where the remnants of the Great Chu are under the control of Master Zhu? Is it out of control, or is it Master Zhu's arrangement? Mirren Xiaonan pondered in his heart. Mirren Xiaonan, we just met not long ago, and you are so anxious to send a letter to ask me to come. At this time, a figure's voice fell into Mirren Xiaonan's ears. Mirren Xiaonan's face showed joy. Step out of the study. Come to the courtyard. In the courtyard, a tall man appeared in front of him, thin, about 30 years old, with jet black hair, eyes as sharp as a knife, bronze skin, and a heavy aura. General Envoy Lei, I have some troubles here, so I asked you to come over. I was afraid that you would go back to retreat. Mirren Xiaonan said. Just when I was about to retreat, your letter came, but I really want to know what troubles you have encountered. If you can't solve it, I'm afraid I can't help you. The person looked at Mirren Xiaonan and said. He didn't believe that Mirren Xiaonan was in trouble. This person was Lei Buhu, one of the four general envoys. The demon sect's heavenly concubine. She appeared. She used the lives of the three great demons of the demon sect to make me sick with the heart-devouring powder. I have temporarily suppressed the poison of the heart-devouring powder, but I don't understand her intentions. Mirren Xiaonan said. That woman escaped from the palace and really came to trouble you. So if I kill her this time, I think your majesty will not object. Lei Buhu heard this, and a sharp light flashed in his eyes. She is not so easy to deal with. In order to calculate me, she sacrificed the 3 great demons of the demon sect. There must be other intentions. I must be cautious. Murung Xiaonan said. Then find her out and strike first. Lei Bu, whose eyes flashed coldly. At the same time, Su Chen came to Qianyu Lake. When he arrived at Qianyu Lake, a maid in white appeared in front of Su Chen. Young Master Su, my master invites you. The maid came to Su Chen, bowed, and took Su Chen to a cruise ship in Qianyu Lake. Inside the cruise ship, sitting was an extremely charming woman with an irresistible temperament and charm, and a peerless enchanting posture. It was the demon sect's heavenly concubine Yanruk Su. Young Master Su, it is my honor to be able to come and talk. Please sit down. The heavenly concubine smiled on her face, revealing her white jade teeth in the smile, with red and sexy lips and long eyelashes, exuding an irresistible charm. Seeing this person, Su Chen couldn't help but admire in his heart a beauty in the world. This person's beauty is not inferior to the world's most beautiful Yu, but the two have different temperaments. One is cold and the other is charming. The heavenly demon Zen seal in his body was running to stabilize his mind. The most beautiful woman in the world, the heavenly demon sect leader, is indeed the most beautiful in the world and has attracted all living beings. I wonder why you invited me here? Hearing Su Chen's words, Xian Fen's eyes showed a trace of surprise, and her heart was even clearer. Does it seem that young dragon chief Su has found something? Xian Fei looked at Su Chen, trying to see something from Su Chen's eyes. While speaking, she raised her delicate jade hand and made a cup of tea for Su Chen. Today is the hour of Hay. It should be the time for you to take action. Su Chen picked up the tea on the table and drank a cup and said. At the moment Su Chen spoke, a murderous intent enveloped Su Chen in the dark. However, when this murderous intent approached Su Chen, it was crushed by a force of energy. Xian Fei, you can't be unfriendly to guests. Su Chen looked at Xian Fei and said. I didn't expect that young dragon chief Su could actually detect that I poisoned the water. I'm really surprised. I wonder what young dragon chief Su wants. Xian Fei Yanruk Su looked at Su Chen and said. Su Chen actually knew that she had invited him and still came, which showed that he had no intention of interfering in the affairs between her and the Mirren family. The grudge between the Mirren family and you has nothing to do with me, but the Mirren family's library cannot be destroyed. I haven't finished reading it yet. Su Chen looked at Xian Fei and said. Hearing Su Chen's request, Xian Fei's brows slightly froze, and a look of surprise appeared on her face. She didn't expect Su Chen to just make such a request. Don't you think that young dragon chief Su has any ideas about the Mirren family's treasure house? There are many treasures there. Xian Fei looked at Su Chen and said. There are some things that I don't even bother to peek at. Su Chen said. Once he took the Mirren family's things, it would mean that he cooperated with the demon sect's Xian Fei. Cooperating to deal with the Mirren family was not his intention. He would not get involved in the grudge between the demon sect and the 4 general envoys of the Xianjian division. I understand what young dragon chief Su means. We won't touch the library. Xian Fei said, after thinking for a moment. I hope you can do what you said, Xian Fei. If you can't do it, people will die. However, things are unpredictable. It is possible that the Mirren family will win. Su Chen said softly. Don't worry, Su Shaolan Shao, I will definitely win this time. Of course, I will do what I promised you. Xian Fei said. The 11th hour is coming soon. I still have things to do, so I won't talk to Su Shaolan Shao. If everything goes well, I will talk to Su Shaolan Shao tomorrow. While Xian Fei was talking, she stood up, bowed slightly to Su Chen, and left. No dragging of feet at all. I don't know if the moonlight tonight will be bright or bloody. The 11th hour, but there are 3 hours? Su Chen murmured. As soon as the 11th hour arrived, the disciples of the Mirren family found that their skills suddenly disappeared. What's going on? What's going on? The true energy in my body disappeared. Incredible voices echoed throughout the Mirren villa. At this moment, not far from Mirren villa, the demon sect's heavenly concubine was wearing a black long dress and her eyes were sharp. Behind her, in addition to Qin Beiming, Madame Linglong, and manager Zhao, there was another person. This person was different from the others. He looked about 40 years old, wearing a black suit, with a strange appearance, a wide and long face, a high forehead, a majestic chin, and an attitude of who else but me. He carried a black halberd on his back. Report. At this moment, a black figure landed in front of everyone. Heavenly concubine, the poison in Mirangvilla has taken effect. The black shadow said. Let's go. Heavenly concubine Yanruxu's eyes condensed, and she said sternly. Chapter 881, The Queen of Heaven appears, Mirang Chyanan's true strength. In the study, Mirang Chyanan's face suddenly changed, sensing the changes in his body. The true key in the body dissipated in an instant. He rushed out of the room in an instant. The disciples guarding outside the courtyard looked panicked at this moment. Master, the true key in our bodies disappeared in an instant. A disciple hurriedly said. Leibu, who followed him, condensed his eyes slightly and flashed in front of the disciple. A stream of true ki poured into the other person's body to check the situation in the other person's body. What a strange poison. When Leibu spoke, a stream of terrifying true ki poured into the other person's body, forcing the toxins in the other person's body out. When the toxins were forced out, the true ki on the disciple's body reappeared. After Leibu checked, he found that there was no difference in the other person. This kind of poison is useful for those below the Danshan who are hay, but not for us. But this is going to destroy your Mirang family, a bit like the blood concubine. Leibu said. Some people call her Chyanfi, while others call her Zufi. Something happened. The target of the heavenly concubine is my Mirangvilla. She wants to destroy my Mirangvilla. Mirang Chyanan's face became extremely gloomy. Let's go. Mirang Chyanan jumped and headed towards the entrance of the villa at a very fast speed. Leibu followed behind him. At this moment, the 6 elders of the Mirang family were also heading to the main hall of the villa. At the entrance of the main hall of Mirangvilla, the elders of the Mirang family gathered, and Mirang Chyanan appeared. What's the situation? 5th elder. Mirang Chyanan looked at one of the elders and said. The 5th elder was the person who managed the affairs of Mirangvilla on a daily basis, and he was also a person who was proficient in medical skills. Master, the other party used poisoning the water source. This poison is useful for warriors below the Danshan who are Hay realm, but it is only for the transformation of power. After the effect of the medicine wears off, it will almost recover. The specific time still needs to be tested. 2/3 of the disciples of my Mirang family have lost their true energy in their bodies. The old man said. Boom. At this time, a flame shot up into the sky. The enemy is coming. Mirang Chyanan's face changed drastically. Go meet the enemy first, 5th elder. You hide the disciples and leave Mirangvilla first, and then ask the ancestor to come out of retreat. After Mirang Chyanan finished speaking, he led people to the gate of the manor. A group of elders, as well as some Danshan who are Hay realm strongmen, quickly followed. They were not affected, so they could fight the enemy. In front of the villa, screams appeared. The guarding disciples, without any power, were not opponents at all. They could only be killed, and blood flowed on the ground. When killing the enemy, one knife solved the opponent, and there were several more knives. It seemed that they were intentionally bleeding these people. How dare you? A low shout came. Then a terrifying energy swept towards everyone. Bang! Some of the black-clothed people who rushed in front were smashed to pieces under this punch, and blood and flesh burst out, and several sounds of breaking through the air were heard. Disperse. At this time, Qin Beaming, who was beside Chyanfi, spoke, and rushed out. He slapped out his palm, and attacked the person who made the move. Qin Beaming, I'm here to kill you. At this time, the elder of the Mirang family made a move, pointed his finger, and a golden sword light appeared, making a terrifying sound of breaking through the air, and went towards the palm. Qin Beaming's eyes condensed, and his palm clenched into a fist. A series of dark fist forces appeared on his fist, facing the sword light of the elder. Bang! The fist collided with the sword light, making a deafening sound. The fist force was shattered, and the energy was emitted. Qin Beaming was shocked and retreated. He took a few steps back before he stabilized his body. He had fought with Mirang Chyanan before and fled with injuries. His injuries have not yet recovered. Qin Beaming, you dare to come to Mirangvilla alone. You are looking for death. The elder of the Mirang family succeeded in one strike, and his body rushed forward. His palms turned golden, and his 5 fingers were like sharp blades, grabbing Qin Beiming's head. Mireng Yun, you bully me and get hurt. Heaven's punishment of blood. Qin Beiming shouted, and blood and energy surged in his body. Runes appeared on his body, and blood and energy surged like a tide. Boom. With a step, his body shot out, and a punch was thrown. Bang. The palm that Mireng Yun, the elder of the Mireng family, grabbed was also clenched, and yellow true energy permeated on his fist. Bang. Fists collided. The golden fist collided with Qin Beiming's fist. A golden force shattered the true energy on Qin Beiming's fist, and went into the other's arm. Crack. The sound of bones breaking was heard. Although it did not explode, it also made Qin Beiming roar in pain. The blood and energy rushed in, and dispersed the golden true energy. The arm was slightly drooped. It feels a bit useless. When Qin Beiming roared, his face became ferocious, and the rune that appeared earlier covered his arm, and his arm recovered in an instant. Mireng Yun, I didn't expect your strength to improve so quickly. Qin Beiming said ferociously. Qin Beiming, you dare to come to my Mireng family before your strength is fully recovered. You are really looking for death. While speaking, Mireng Yun's figure was like a ghost, rushing forward, and his figure went straight to Qin Beiming. He wanted to kill Qin Beiming first to shock him. He raised his arm, and a golden sword energy appeared on his arm, like a golden giant sword. Suddenly, a strange fragrance appeared around. Along with the fragrance, hehe, a string of chuckles appeared in his ears, and Madame Linglong made a move. The palm of her hand slapped out. A bright red flower appeared in front of Mireng Yun, and a skull was engraved on the bright red flower. It exuded a terrifying evil breath. Seeing this, Mireng Yun slashed out with the golden sword energy in his hand. Boom. The long sword collided with the red flower, and a terrifying power wave burst out. Madame Linglong. Mireng Yun looked at Madame Linglong with a cold look in his eyes. Xian Fei, you should have appeared by now. These people can't destroy my Mireng family. Mireng Xiaonan stepped out, and said in a cold voice. His voice was loud and clear. Second elder kill. Mireng Xiaonan said sternly, after he finished speaking. The second elder beside him flew out in an instant, and the sword energy on his body burst out. The black-clothed man who chose to disperse instantly spurted blood, and fell to the ground under this sword energy. Haha, Mireng Xiaonan, do you think that I only have these few people, and I took action? Since I used poison, is it only the people in the open? At this time, Xian Fei appeared with the figure of Zhao Zongwen. As for the man carrying the long halberd, he did not show up. Demon sect Xian Fei. Seeing Xian Fei appear, the great elder Mireng Yun's eyes condensed. My Mireng family doesn't seem to have any grudges against you. Mireng Yun looked at Xian Fei and asked sternly. The Mireng family has no grudge against me, but Mireng Xiaonan does. He is Xian, one of the 4 general envoys of the Jiangnan Xianjian division. He was the one who captured me and presented me to Emperor Zhao. Should I avenge this grudge? Xian Fei Yanruxu looked at Mireng Xiaonan and said, what, Patriarch, you are one of the 4 general envoys of the Jiangnan Xianjian division. Hearing this, the elder's eyes condensed and looked at Mireng Xiaonan. Xian Fei, I didn't kill you last time, but I will kill you this time. Boom. Mireng Xiaonan's right hand, which was behind his back, suddenly opened and punched out. This punch shook the mountains, and seemed to collapse. A breath of blue sky and hegemony emanated. Behind him, the true key changed, and a huge phantom appeared. At this moment, Mireng Xiaonan showed his true strength, and his divine power and fist condensed into one. Mireng Xiaonan's path was similar to Li Chen's house. He went deeper than Li Chen's house before. Chapter 882, The storm gathers, the mighty demon god refuses to thunder. Boom. Fist out. A terrifying force burst out from Mireng Xiaonan's fist, and with the force of thunder and lightning, it hit the heavenly concubine. Everything around was oppressed and destroyed in an instant under this punch. Heavenly tyrant blood fist. The heavenly concubine Yanruxu in front of him changed her expression when she saw this. She didn't expect Mireng Xiaonan's fist to reach such a level, or thought of the begonia, it becomes invisible. Yanruxu shouted in a low voice. Her figure changed, and her true energy flowed. In the blink of an eye, she turned into bright red begonia flowers. These begonia flowers seemed real, but they existed in illusion. Boom. The fist fell, and the phantoms of the begonia flower shattered in an instant. But there was no trace of Yan Ruxu. Murung Xianan's face did not change at all, and his eyes looked in one place. You couldn't escape from my hands back then, and this time is the same. There is no chance. Heavenly prison. Murung Xianan roared, and his true energy spread out, and the terrifying energy seemed to block the surrounding space. A black figure gradually emerged under this pressure. You have no chance in my hands. You can only fight me head on. Murung Xianan looked at Yan Ruxu and said. A trace of blood appeared in his eyes. Murung Xianan, my Yi Nan Hei Tang can't escape your heavenly prison, but I still dare to appear here. Do you know why? Boom, at this moment. The third elder, who stood without taking action, suddenly moved and appeared behind Murung Xianan. Heavenly evil Yin Lai palm. The palm hit Murung Xianan's back. Bang. Murung Xianan's protective aura was directly shattered under this palm. The whole body was shaken by this palm and went towards Xianfei Yan Ruxu. Divine power, heavenly demon phantom, heavenly demon, evil kill. Yan Ruxu's eyes were ferocious, and she burst out with her own divine power. Her body changed, and her palm slapped out instantly. Just when Yan Ruxu's palm was about to collide with Murung Xianan. I didn't expect that. Brother Murung, you would be attacked by surprise. Xianfei, you are very capable, but that's all. As soon as the voice came, a flash of lightning instantly struck Yan Ruxu. Seeing this, Yan Ruxu's face froze. He turned quickly to avoid the lightning, and looked in the direction of the voice. Lei Buhu, are you in Murung's house? Seeing the person coming, Yan Ruxu's face changed. She didn't expect Lei Buhu to be here. Lei Buhu followed behind Murung Xianan and the others, but he didn't show up before. Bang. At this moment, Murung Xianan stepped on the ground suddenly to stabilize his body. Puff. A mouthful of blood spit out. Turning his head, he looked at the third elder, who attacked him by surprise. Zhao Mufeng, the chief steward of the demon sect, you actually disguised yourself as the third elder of my Murung family. Xiangxi Yin Lai Palm is one of the unique skills of the chief steward of the demon sect. He recognized the other party and saw Murung Xianan and called out his name. The third elder waved his palm on his face and revealed his true face. He had been recognized by the other party, so there was no need for him to hide. It seems that you are the one who poisoned the water source of my Murung family. Murung Xianan looked at Zhao Mufeng and said in a deep voice. While speaking, he spurted out a mouthful of blood from his mouth again. He was unprepared just now and was hit by the other party, which injured him. Today is the day when your Murung family will be destroyed. Zhao Mufeng said coldly. With you, even if I'm injured, the ancestor of my Murung family can kill you when he comes out of retreat. Murung Xianan said coldly. Then you're probably disappointed. Your ancestor was in seclusion, and I set up a mountain detention formation. He couldn't know about it in a short time. Or even if he knew about it, he couldn't break the formation to help you in a short time. Zhao Mufeng continued. You set up a detention formation. It seems that you have been lurking in my Murung family for a long time. Murung Xianan's expression became solemn. Thinking of the fifth elder, he was going to see the ancestor. He believed that with the help of external forces, he should be able to break the detention formation in a short time. Are you waiting for him? At this time, a low voice came out. As the voice came out, a bleeding head was thrown out. Fifth elder. Seeing this head, Murung Xianan's pupils widened and became extremely angry. This head was the fifth elder sent by Murung Xianan before. A figure holding a long halberd slowly walked over. The powerful demon god, Sun Ming. Seeing the person holding the long halberd, Murung Xianan's eyes were slightly startled. Murung Xianan, long time no see. But it looks like you're seriously injured. The man holding the halberd who came out looked at Murung Xianan and said coldly. I didn't expect you to help Xianfei. Murung Xianan looked at Sun Ming, who was holding the halberd, and said. I lost to Lu Junsheng, and Xianfei helped me once. I owed her a favor back then, and now I'm repaying her. Sun Ming looked at Murung Xianan and said. The demon sect was formed by Lu Junsheng and the forces of the demon Dao. Sun Ming was the man who could fight against the leader of the demon sect, Lu Junsheng. Before Lu Junsheng, he was one of the strongest in the demon Dao forces. After the defeat, when Lu Junsheng became the leader of the demon sect, this powerful demon god, Sun Ming, never appeared again. I didn't expect him to appear now. Powerful demon god, Sun Ming, I really want to test your strength. Lei Bihu, who didn't speak, looked at the powerful demon god Sun Ming holding the halberd, and a fighting spirit appeared in his eyes. Lei Bihu, one of the running dogs of Emperor Zhao. Seeing Lei Bihu, Sun Ming said coldly, looking for death. Lei Bihu raised his eyebrows and his eyes became cold. Today I will see how strong you, the mighty demon god, are. When Lei Bihu spoke again, he rushed towards the mighty demon god Sun Ming like lightning. A punch rushed out. Thunder and lightning burst out, and the air seemed to be blown apart. Thunder and lightning surged on his fist. Humph. Sun Ming snorted coldly, raised his long halberd in his hand, and stabbed it out. Boom. A terrifying power wave burst out from the long halberd, tearing the air, carrying a black airflow, and colliding with the lightning fist. Only a boom sound was heard. The fist force and the light of the long halberd burst out. The two people bounced away. After a fight, the two did not find out each other's details. Brother Muring, I have bought you some opportunities to adjust your breath. Now you should be able to take action. Leave this mighty demon god Sun Ming to me, and you kill Xianfei and the others. Lei Bihu said to Mirang Xianan. The thunder and lightning aura on Lei Bihu's body surged as he spoke. Divine power, thundering sky. After Lei Bihu spoke, divine power burst out from his body, and a terrifying lightning shadow condensed behind him. At the moment when the lightning shadow condensed, Lei Bihu took a step and clenched his fist, punched out Demon Lion Thunder Fist. The fist was thrown out, and the thick lightning turned into a roaring lion, rushing towards Sun Ming like lightning. Roar the roar shook the world. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 883, Illusion, Violent Fight, and the Bloodthirsty Magic. Good. Sun Ming's divine power also burst out. Black true energy surged out of his body, his robe fluttered, and his body became unusually tall. A stream of black true energy emerged from his hand, and poured into his halberd. A black flame appeared on the halberd. Boom. He raised the halberd in his hand. One halberd cuts the sky. The halberd burst out, turning into a stream of black light, and attacked the angry lion of thunder and lightning. Boom, the two forces collided again, and the terrifying aftermath of the power spread to the surroundings, forming a terrifying energy storm. Kill. Thunder turns the world. Lei Bihu showed a ferocious look on his face, and the lightning in his palm condensed and gathered into shape, covering the world, and attacking Sun Ming. Suddenly, the surrounding space exploded, forming a terrifying thunderstorm. Powerful demon halberd. Demon god slash. Holding the halberd, Sun Ming's internal energy continued to flow into the halberd, and the halberd danced and burst into a brighter light, forming a huge demon shadow. A long halberd appeared in the demon's hand. It was raised and followed the long halberd in Sun Ming's hand. With a mighty force that could tear the world apart, it rushed out violently, turned into a raging black light, and fiercely collided with the falling thunderstorm. Boom. The two forces collided, and the energy storm suddenly rolled and spread to the surroundings. For a while, they were deadlocked. I will kill you. At this time, a pill appeared in Mirang Xianan's hand and he swallowed it directly into his mouth. Boom. The energy on his body recovered, and the previous injuries seemed to be suppressed for a while. Although Lei Bihu bought him some time, he was still seriously injured, so he could only use the pill to temporarily suppress the injuries in his body and increase his strength. Poor blood pill. Mirang Xianan, do you think the burst time of the poor blood pill can kill me? Seeing Mirang Xianan swallow the pill, his breath recovered. Xianfei Yanruxu said sternly. Boom. Mirang Xianan ignored Xianfei's words, raised his palm, and attacked Xianfei with one palm. The key in his hand was full of energy, and he grabbed towards Xianfei like a flash of lightning. Xianfei's eyes were fixed, and this time she did not dodge. The aura on her body burst out, and she slapped out with a palm. When Xian Fei attacked, Zhao Mufeng, the chief steward on the other side, also burst out, and his palms formed fists. A punch was thrown out, directly sweeping Mireng Xianan's back. But suddenly Mireng Xianan's body suddenly stopped, and his feet moved to avoid Xian Fei's attack. Then he kicked the ground with his feet, and his body shot towards Zhao Mufeng, the chief steward. The palm that attacked Xian Fei before instantly attacked Zhao Mufeng, the chief steward. The palm that was grabbed was the first to arrive, and grabbed the fist of the chief steward. "Break it for me." The palm exerted force, and the key covering the fist of Zhao Mufeng, the chief steward, was instantly shattered. The palm landed on the opponent's fist. Zhao Mufeng's face immediately changed. He never thought that the injured Mireng Xianan would still have such strong power. Crack. Zhao Mufeng groaned, and his fist was crushed by the opponent. Then a force shattered Zhao Mufeng's arm, and the recoil force made Zhao Mufeng retreat, his blood and ki tumbling, and his body was knocked back dozens of feet. Kill. At this time, Zhao Zongwen, who had not made a move, slapped his palm, and a poisonous wind floated. Boom. Mireng Xianan slapped his palm, and his true ki burst out to block the attack. But there was no chance to chase Zhao Mufeng. Just at the moment, when his body paused, the scenery in front of him changed, and a bright red appeared. Blood-colored figures kept flying around him. Yan Ruxu is known as the most beautiful woman in the world. These blood-colored figures are based on Yan Ruxu. As they dance, they exude endless charm. Mireng Xianan's eyes gradually became blurred. Puff. Mireng Xianan suddenly spit out a mouthful of blood, and his eyes regained some clarity. Blood dance illusion. Yang Ruxu, I, Mireng Xianan, am not so easily defeated. As the voice came out, Mireng Xianan's aura burst out again, and a strong aura burst out from him. Along with this strong aura, blood-colored light burst out from him, and his eyes became more and more red. Boom. The huge energy swept around like a wave. All those charming figures were shattered. Puff. When the figure was shattered, Yan Ruxu's figure appeared not far away, and a mouthful of blood spurted out of her mouth. Her beautiful eyes looked at Mireng Xianan in disbelief. In this situation, you can still break free from my blood dance illusion. Kill. Mireng Xianan did not respond to Yan Ruxu's words. He didn't have much time. He had just broken free from the illusion and burst out with extraordinary power, which consumed too much. One punch to the sky. Mireng Xianan punched out. The punch was like a black hole, and went towards Xian Fei Yan Ruxu. Even all heavy, 9 punches. Triple poisonous energy. Zhao Mufeng and Zhao Zongwen attacked at the same time. Zhao Mufeng threw 9 punches in a row, and Zhao Zongwen released 3 layers of dark green energy from his hands, bombarding Mireng Xianan. However, the two of them disappeared instantly when their fists touched Mireng Xianan's black hole-like fist, as if they were swallowed. Seeing this situation, the two of them looked condensed. Facing Mireng Xianan's punch, Xian Fei's face changed drastically. She could sense the power of Mireng Xianan's punch. If she was hit, she would probably be dead. In the distance, Su Chen and Yuan Suan were standing on a roof, watching the situation here. Mireng Xianan's strength is not inferior to Sima Changhan at all. The strength of the 4 general envoys is indeed not simple. If Mireng Xianan hadn't been injured, it wouldn't take long for him to deal with them. I don't know how Xian Fei can block this punch, Su Chen said in a deep voice. Demon, the 7 emotions and resentment technique. Yan Ruxu shouted in a low voice. As she shouted, 7 hazy and blurred figures emerged from Yan Ruxu. Each of these 7 figures had different expressions, but they all carried a look of resentment. For a moment, a resentment appeared in the entire surrounding space. These 7 figures appeared and slapped out with one palm, gathering together and slamming into the black hole-like fist. Bang! The 2 forces collided. The 2 figures were shaken out at the same time. But at the moment of shaking out, Mireng Xianan's figure suddenly turned and appeared in front of Zhao Mufeng. Before the other party could react, his palm directly grabbed the other party's head. Boom! The head exploded. Blood spurted out, but the spurted blood was caught in Mireng Xianan's big hand. Finally, it condensed into a point and swallowed into the body. The ki and blood consumed in the body before. After these ki and blood were integrated, Mireng Xianan's ki and blood were restored a lot. It's just that the red in his eyes became brighter. But it seems that Mireng Cheyenne didn't notice it at all. The blood-crying demonic art. You learned the demon chief's art. On the other side, Manager Zao saw this, and his face changed. It was you who sneaked into our demon sect after the chief's death. Manager Zao looked at Mireng Cheyenne and said, Chapter 884, Demon Sect Masters appear and surround and kill Mireng Cheyenne. It's me. Do you want to avenge your son? Mireng Cheyenne looked at Zhao Zhangwen. Zhao Zhangwen was the chief steward of the demon sect, responsible for taking care of Lu Junsheng. His son was also one of Lu Junsheng's followers, so when Lu Junsheng was defeated and died, they returned. His son found someone sneaking into Lu Junsheng's place, but as soon as he made a sound, he was shot dead by the person who came. But Zhao Zhangwen just touched his palm with the other party and was repelled. The other party did not fight with him, but left immediately. He had always thought that it was someone from the demon sect who did it. Unexpectedly, it was Mireng Cheyenne. I want you to die. Seeing this situation, Zhao Zhangwen's face became furious. The aura around him began to become unstable, and it was about to surpass the power of the sea. Boom. The gate of heaven appeared faintly in the void. Zhao Zhangwen. This is not the time to fight. Our goal is not just to kill him. At this time, the voice of Cheyenne Fei Yan Ruxu sounded in Zhao Zhangwen's ears. Manager Zhao, who was trying to kill Mireng Cheyenne with the help of the power of the heavenly gate, recovered his look, and his strength dropped sharply. Seeing this situation, Mireng Cheyenne's eyes condensed. If Manager Zhao fought hard and used the power of the heavenly gate, his injured body would not die, but would be seriously injured. I didn't expect that you, the demon sect, would also be greedy for life and afraid of death. The other party did not trigger the heavenly gate, which was a bit inconsistent with the characteristics of the demon sect's strong men. Not to mention the revenge for killing his son, Mireng Cheyenne said so. Boom. At this time, the powerful demon god Sun Ming and Lei Bihu separated. The aura of both of them was a little unstable. You haven't solved them yet. Lei Bihu looked at Mireng Cheyenne and said, solve it quickly. Powerful demon god, can't you take it down? Mireng Cheyenne said, don't worry about mine. Lei Bihu said coldly. Ah. At this time, a scream was heard. The elder who had fought with Qin Beiming before was pierced through the chest by a black sword light and died. His eyes were fierce, and he was stunned, as if he had not sensed the sword at all. Master of Shadow Demon Sect, Aing Wuxi. Seeing this, Mireng Cheyenne's face changed. This time, I attacked your Mireng Villa. Do you think I didn't make any preparations? Cheyenne Fei said coldly. Ah. Screams broke out all around. The fourth elder and the sixth elder who followed were all ambushed and screamed. In addition to the second elder who was killed earlier and the third elder who died long ago, the 6 elders of the Mireng family were all killed. Haha. 2 wild laughs came out, and 2 figures walked out. The 2 of them exuded a terrifying evil spirit, and they held a long sword in their hands, and the long sword was filled with blood. Demon Sect, 7 Evil Sword Sect, 7 Evil Twin Gods. Seeing these 2 people, Mireng Cheyenne's face rose. I didn't expect that. In order to deal with me, you invited the top 3 masters of the demon sect in the past. Mireng Cheyenne looked at Cheyenne Fei with a gloomy expression. I have been planning to destroy your Mireng family for a long time. Cheyenne Fei said. Kill. When she spoke, Mireng Cheyenne's figure suddenly turned into a residual shadow and went towards Cheyenne Fei at a very fast speed. He grabbed with his palm. At the moment when his palm grabbed, a figure flew out from behind Cheyenne Fei. Mireng Cheyenne's palm did not stop at all and continued to fall. His palm landed on the other person's body. Bang. The other person was instantly pierced through by a palm. Ah. The figure let out a scream. The scream sounded familiar. Haha, Mireng Cheyenne, you killed your son with a palm. You are really ruthless. Seeing this scene, the general manager Zhao laughed. Su Chen, who was watching the battle from a distance, looked at the pierced body, his eyes slightly condensed. It was Mireng Xingchen who had just met not long ago. Father, you. After Mireng Xingchen screamed, he looked at Mireng Cheyenne, and before he finished speaking, he was out of breath. Xingchen. Mireng Cheyenne's expression changed drastically when he saw that Mireng Xingchen was pierced by his punch. His eyes became ferocious. The scarlet color in his eyes became deeper and deeper. I will kill you. Mirung Cheyenne growled and continued to attack Cheyenne Fei with one punch. The terrifying true energy gathered on his fist, and the surrounding air was directly crushed and exploded under the power of this fist, forming a vacuum. The vacuum area enveloped Cheyenne Fei. Boom. The fist landed in the area where Cheyenne Fei was. A ball of blood burst out and spread all around. The blood sprinkled on Mirung Cheyenne's body, which made Mirung Cheyenne look stunned. Looking around, he found that Cheyenne Fei was standing in another place. Mirung Cheyenne, you just punched your daughter to death. Cheyenne Fei said with a sneer. In the distance, Su Chen frowned slightly. My lord, Mirung Cheyenne looks a little strange now. He may have been under an illusion. Yuan Suan said as he looked at the situation. First he killed his son, then his daughter. A strong man like Mirung Cheyenne could not be so careless and fail to sense the identities of the two. What a powerful Cheyenne Fei, Su Chen exclaimed. Judging from the current situation, the Mirung family is going to lose. Roar. At this time, Mirung Cheyenne roared, with sadness in his voice. His eyes became more and more red. Heart-eating powder, you poisoned me before, and let me be poisoned by the heart-eating powder, just for now. Let the killing intention control my mind, and fall into your illusion. Cheyenne Fei, I underestimated you. I fell into your trap. Mirung Cheyenne looked at Cheyenne Fei with a ferocious look. I also want to thank you for killing the 3 great Cheyenne Sha. They have a rebellious heart. If you don't kill them, I will kill them too, Cheyenne Fei said coldly. Even so, do you think you're sure to win? I, Mirung Cheyenne, won't lose just like that. Since you want me to kill you, I'll kill you. Mirung Cheyenne raised his hand, and the blood on the ground turned into a river, rushing towards his body. The blood flowed into his body, gradually replenishing the blood and ki consumed in his body. As his blood and ki recovered, Mirung Cheyenne seemed to not suppress his strength at all, and layers of blood appeared on his body. The surging true ki was like a 100-foot high sea wave, boiling behind him. At this moment, the divine power also broke out. The divine power itself is an invisible cage, and with the boiling true ki, the momentum is extremely terrifying. Crash. Not only the true ki, but also the blood and ki surged up, forming waves. The two forces merged, and the blood and true ki in the sky swept out. Combined with Mirung Cheyenne now, people felt that he was a terrible angry demon. Boom. In the void, the gate of heaven appeared. Horrible thunder and lightning broke out. In an instant, the sky and the earth were dark. Cheyenne Fei, does she want to use the thunder to kill Mirung Cheyenne? Seeing this, Su Chen's eyes condensed. But it shouldn't be. Mirung Cheyenne's current strength can definitely smash the Cheyenneman and leave. Su Chen was puzzled. Heavenly blood prison demon array. At this time, Cheyenne Fei shouted in a low voice, and her palms formed seals, and blood-colored marks spread out from her hands. As these blood-colored marks appeared, the remaining blood on the ground formed a series of array patterns. Then a series of blood key cages appeared. The moment the cages appeared, the aura in the big array disappeared. The Cheyenneman in the void also disappeared. Chapter 885 Mirung Cheyenne's death. Dugu is my goal. HMM. Hiding her aura. What does this Cheyenne Fei want to do? Judging from the current situation, Cheyenne Fei should not only want to destroy the Mirung family. If she only wanted to destroy the Mirung family and kill Mirung Cheyenne, she would not have caused so many things. With a gleam in her eyes, she looked inside through the blood-colored aura shield. At this moment, in the formation, 5 figures all appeared behind Cheyenne Fei. Give me all your power. Cheyenne Fei was wrapped in blood-colored runes and said with cold eyes. Boom. 5 figures behind him burst out with terrifying power fluctuations at the same time. The power of these people rushed into Cheyenne Fei's body crazily. When Cheyenne Fei's body received this power, a terrifying aura burst out from Cheyenne Fei's body. Kill you, the strongest crazy demon state, and absorb your resentful power. Cheyenne Fei said sternly. The demon has no form. Transform all living beings. While speaking, Cheyenne Fei's figure changed, and blood-colored figures flew out from her body. Kill. Mirung Cheyenne's eyes were red, like a madman, punching out one punch after another, smashing the bloody figure. However, those bloody figures that were smashed merged into Mirung Cheyenne's body. Mirung Xiaonan was crazy, and he didn't pay attention to those bloody figures that merged into his body and continued to go towards Xianfei. His palm fell, and the fist burst out, forming a wave, changed shape and shadow. But the moment his fist fell, the figures of Xianfei and others disappeared in the blink of an eye. Crazy Mirung Xiaonan let out a low roar. The blood and energy around his body burst out in all directions, and the true energy spread out in all directions like waves, trying to knock Xianfei out. Just as the true energy burst out and spread in all directions, a bloody long sword appeared above his head. The long sword burst out with a brilliant bloody light. Then a bloody sword energy enveloped it. Those bursting true energy and blood energy were instantly shattered by the sword energy. What kind of sword is that? Chen, who was watching the battle from a distance, condensed his eyes. That sword is not ordinary. Although Chen was outside the formation, he could still sense that the blood-colored long sword that appeared was not ordinary. This should be the opponent's trump card. Chen thought to himself. Heavenly demon blood sword. Mirung Xiaonan roared madly, but in his subconscious, he recognized this long sword. Heavenly demon blood sword, Lu Junsheng's sword in the past. A top-grade spiritual weapon. It was chopped apart by Emperor Zhao and disappeared. I didn't expect it to be repaired now. The heavenly demon blood sword appeared. 6 figures also appeared. The 6 people raised their palms and pressed towards the blood-colored long sword at the same time. Swish. The blood-colored long sword turned into a bloodlight and fell down. Roar. Mirung Xiaonan sensed the power of the sword light. His face changed drastically, roared, and punched out with his fist. Bang. The terrifying fist force burst out. He wanted to block the heavenly demon blood sword, but when the fist force collided with the Xianmen blood sword, it was directly shattered, and the blood sword fell and inserted into Mirung Xiaonan's head. For a moment, the wind and clouds were silent. Time seemed to stop. Swish. The long sword was withdrawn, and Mirung Xiaonan fell to the ground. He looked at Xianfei. What do you want to do? Although his head was pierced, Mirung Xiaonan did not die for a while. When he finished speaking, Xianfei appeared in front of Mirung Xiaonan. A black bead appeared in her palm. The black bead appeared and was instantly hit by Xianfei into the wound on Mirung Xiaonan's head. Ah. You. Mirung Xiaonan sensed something and screamed. He wanted to say something, but he had no breath. When Mirung Xiaonan fell, the previous formation disappeared. When the formation disappeared, Lei Buhu, who had fought with Sun Ming before, turned into a flash of lightning and fled away. Mirung Xiaonan was already dead. If he was still here, he would not be able to leave. When they surrounded him, I will take the body away, and you will activate the formation outside the retreat of the Mirung family ancestor, and don't let him burst out the power of his body. Xianfei said to the remaining people. Yes. Several people disappeared quickly, leaving only Xianfei on the scene. After a while, Xianfei looked in the direction of Chen. Young Master Su, there will be no problem with the library. You can go and see it anytime. A voice sounded in Chen's ears. Chen looked at Xianfei. At this moment, Xianfei grabbed Mirung Xiaonan's body on the ground and turned away. What does she want to do? Chen's eyes condensed. Boom. After a moment, a terrifying power fluctuation broke out in the Mirung family. Who? A low and old voice burst out, but this voice, as soon as it was finished, seemed to disappear. There was no breath. It seems that the Mirung ancestor was ambushed. The Mirung family is destroyed. Chen sighed. Time passed, and after a while, Chen said to Yuan Suan, let's go to the library. Along the way, Chen did not find any living people. For a while, they arrived at the library. The old man in the library had a sword scar between his eyebrows and a look of astonishment on his face. He must have died under the sword of Ying Wuji. He stepped into the library. Only the top floor was not read by Chen yet. He decided to finish reading the books on the top floor and take them away if he couldn't finish them before dawn. When the lights came on, boom, the sound of a bookcase falling to the ground. Who is it? Chen looked over there. A young girl with disheveled hair was standing there, looking at Chen nervously. Young dragon head, here's Mirung Yuan Suan, who was beside Chen, spoke. Ranked second on the celestial immortal list. Chen looked at the disheveled Mirung and was stunned. He didn't expect that the heavenly concubine would take action and leave a survivor. Mirung Xingchen and the others were all captured and finally killed by the crazy Mirung Xiaonan, but Mirung Yu, who had a very weak aura, was not captured. You are the young dragon chief Su, help me get revenge. As long as you help me get revenge, I'll be yours. Mirung Yu seemed to see who Su Chen was and spoke. Do you know who destroyed your Mirung family? Let me avenge you. Su Chen frowned slightly and said, I know that it was the heavenly concubine of the demon sect who destroyed my Mirung family. If you help me kill the heavenly concubine, I'll be yours. I'm Mirung Yu, who ranks second on the heavenly immortal ranking. Mirung Yu looked at Su Chen and said, the reason why she was able to survive was that she was sent here by her sister first. Outsiders knew that the young dragon chief of the Qinglang Society was reading books in the library of their Mirung family. Although Su Chen went out, the people of the demon sect might not know. So she thought the library was safer. So she sent Mirung Yu here. Are you afraid of the heavenly concubine of the demon sect? Aren't you? Qinglang Society, very domineering. Mirung Yu continued to speak when she saw that Su Chen didn't respond. Swish. Just as she finished her words, a sword light appeared in her throat. Mirung Yu looked at Yuan Suan in horror. It was Yuan Suan who attacked, stabbing his throat with a sword. Anyone who dares to speak to the young master like this shall die, Yuan Suan said coldly. Su Chen shook his head and said, the Mirung family is destroyed. If you let me take you to see Mirung Qingshan, maybe I can still help you. But you shouldn't think too much. Su Chen watched in the library. Yuan Suan picked up Mirung Yu's body on the ground. His attack would leave some traces, so it's better to get rid of it. At this time, Lingjiang area Guan Yushan looked at the secret letter in front of him with a look of shock on his face. Du Guiwu's use of the North-South Canal for trade is just a facade. The real purpose is to occupy the river areas on both sides of the North-South Canal and expand his sphere of influence. When the time comes, cooperate with his power in the South China Sea region. You will be able to overthrow the rule of Emperor Zhao. I didn't expect Du Guiwu to have such ambitions, Guan Yushan murmured. This secret letter was sent back by Liao Russian from the Hainan region. Chapter 886. Danshan contains sword skills. Summoning character trading mall. In the library of Mirung Villa, Su Chen read very quickly. He put some useful books into his space ring. When he walked out of the library, he had 10 orange lottery cards restored. When he was about to draw a wave, a flash of light suddenly flashed in his mind. The Mirung family was destroyed by the demon sect's Xianfi. The Mirung family's fortune should not have dissipated. Why not intercept it? The Mirung family was not destroyed by his side, so Su Chen did not get the fortune. But he can intercept the fortune of this place. A light flashed in his eyes. Return to the first floor of the library. The palms formed seals, and dragon-shaped energy flowed into the underground of Mirung Villa. The fortune is still there. Su Chen showed a happy expression on his face, and sat cross-legged to absorb the Mirung family's fortune. Intercept the Mirung family's fortune. The Mirung family is one of the 4 major families in Jiangnan, and Mirung Xiaonan is one of the 4 general envoys of the Xianjian division in Jiangnan. The accumulated fortune is extremely strong, not inferior to that of Xianjian Villa. Golden fortunes merged into the light spots in Su Chen's body. In the light spots, a faint roar of dragons appeared. A faint and small dragon shadow gradually emerged. Along with the appearance of the faint and small golden dragon shadow, energy poured into Danshan and his body. The body was further strengthened. An hour later, Su Chen opened his eyes. Feeling the surging power fluctuations in his body, Su Chen smiled. Now my body, combined with my Vajra-splitting demon body, I'm afraid that those who have just stepped into the sea to concentrate their minds, or those who are weaker in the sea to concentrate their minds, are not my opponents, Su Chen muttered. I have absorbed the fortune of the Mirung family. I don't know what the lottery is like now. First, draw 5 orange lottery cards. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the 100-fold space card of the space ring, a 10-cubic space ring, bound to the character Li Chenzhao, Danshan Yundao, a sea concentration pill, and the primary model for summoning character transactions. Seeing this, Su Chen's eyes condensed slightly. This time, no characters were summoned, but a lot of things were added. The space ring in his hand was a little small before, but now it is 100 times larger. As for the 10 cubic space ring, it is bound to Li Chen's Hao and can only be used by Li Chen's Hao. Danshan condensed sword technique. The true key in the Danshan condenses into a sword shape, and the longer it is nurtured, the stronger the explosive power. I rarely take action. This Danshan condensed sword technique is very useful to me. Under the expansion of the Xian Long Meridian interception technique, Su Chen's Danshan continues to grow. When it is nurtured, the sword energy is extremely powerful. When it is combined with the body-breaking sword energy, it will inevitably explode with terrifying power. It can also be regarded as Su Chen's trump card. The Sea condensation pill helps the warriors of Danshan transformation into the sea to concentrate their minds. It is very good. The last one is the primary mall for summoning characters to trade. This is quite awesome. Summoning characters can trade here, so that Su Chen does not need to transport resources back and forth. Others can also keep the resources they get or send them to one place. Of course, summoned characters can also trade by themselves. This can be said to be Su Chen's biggest gain now. It would be nice to have a communication template next time. Su Chen thought to himself. When Su Chen clicked on the trading mall, his brows furrowed slightly. He found that Ren Qiangxing, Lan Qingbi, Guan Qi and others could not trade. I wanted to give them something, but now it seems that it is not possible. Su Chen sighed. Su Chen then put some secret books in the mall, especially the Heart Sutra of the Return of the Divine in the Dark, which can increase the power of the gods and comprehend the concept of the domain. Although it is not certain that the domain can be comprehended here, it is possible that someone will accidentally step into the heavenly gate and leave. When thinking about whether to continue to draw a hand, Yuan Suan stepped in. My lord, it's getting light, we should leave. There are some survivors in the Mirren family, and these people have fled the Mirren family. Yuan Suan stepped forward and said, there are many people in Mirren Villa. Even if Xianfei and others take action, there will always be survivors who escape. Let's go. Su Chen nodded. When he stepped out of the Mirren family library, a light spot appeared in the sky. The two quickly left Mirren Villa. At this moment, the capital, the imperial city, a black airflow suddenly emerged from the body of Emperor Zhao, who was sitting cross-legged. Dragon shadows swam in these black airflows, making roaring sounds. These black dragon shadows roared and returned to Emperor Zhao's body soon. Emperor Zhao opened his eyes and frowned slightly. The evil dragon energy just now came from the south. The Lai family and the 36 alien tribes were just destroyed. Who was destroyed again? But just now there was a sign that the fortune was intercepted again. Who was it? Emperor Zhao murmured. Zhu Pingsheng should have found a clue. After Emperor Zhao finished speaking, he continued to close his eyes. He did not summon Zhu Pingsheng. He waited for Zhu Pingsheng to come to see him. Suching. The news that Mirren Villa was bloodbathed by the demon sect Xianfei quickly spread. In an inn, there are obviously more martial artists in Suching these days. Su Chen said as he looked at the martial artists wearing swords on the street outside the window. Something happened at Mirren Villa. Although some members of the Mirren family who were away returned, they could not control the situation. Many warriors entered Mirren Villa to see if they could obtain some remaining treasures and secret manuals, etc. Many conflicts have already broken out, and many people have died. Those who returned temporarily withdrew from Mirren Villa when they saw the situation. Yuan Suan said, it was a very correct decision. Mirren Villa is now Whirlpool, and it is right for the remaining members of the Mirren family not to ask. My lord, this is a secret letter sent to me by the general envoy through the trading mall. The secret letter mentioned that Du Guiwu's real intention of occupying the two regions of the North and South Canals may be to overthrow the Great Zhao dynasty. Yuan Suan said, the trading mall can also deliver secret letters, so there will be no need to send pigeons in the future. Everyone will use the trading mall to deliver secret letters. Du Guiwu has such an ambition. But if there is no such ambition, the Zhao Emperor will not have to guard against Du Guiwu. Su Chen thought of the reason why the Zhao Emperor wanted to transfer Du Guiwu back to the capital. My lord, the letter from the third dragon chief Li Chen's Hao is mobilizing people to enter the two regions of the North and South Canals. Yuan Suan said afterwards. It seems that Li Chenzhou wants to extend the hand of the Qinglang Society into the North and South Canals. The strong and the heroes just can't bear to be lonely. Su Chen said with a sigh. My lord, the third dragon chief has mobilized Zhu Yiren, Liu Sheng Yijian, Chu Jiangnan, Fang Yingkan, Yan Nanfei and others to join him. Such strength should be able to make the North and South Canals present a trend of three-legged tripod. Su Chen's eyes lit up slightly. The benefits of the North and South Canals are huge, and we need to take the initiative. Moreover, although the Great Zhao dynasty is a little turbulent now, the strength it has shown is absolutely strong. Du Guiwei dared to make such a layout. He must have hidden a lot of trump cards. Li Chenzhou brought people from the Qinglang Society into the North-South Canal, perhaps to test Du Guiwei. Are there any movements from the demon sect's Xianfei? Su Chen saw that Mireng Xianfei put a black bead into Mireng Xianan's head and took away his body. There must be some conspiracy. Since that battle, all of them have been in hiding. We mobilized the Qinglang Society's secret forces, but we still couldn't find the other party, Yuan Suan said in a deep voice. Hearing this, Su Chen frowned slightly. Chapter 887. Changes occur. Emperor Zhao wants to take action. In the capital, in the Imperial Palace, Zhu Pingsheng's eyes were red, and he stared at the secret letters piled on the table. On the white paper in front of him, it was written, Qinglang Club, Xian'ai Pavilion, Momen. His palm fell. The white paper was shattered. He calmed his mind, and turned away from the desk. After a while, he appeared in the underground palace of Emperor Zhao. What, did you find out who was intercepting the fortune? Emperor Zhao opened his eyes and said, according to the time reported by your majesty, the things that happened when the fortune was intercepted were, Holy Sword Lake fell into the hands of Xian'ai Pavilion, the Lai family was destroyed by Qinglang Club, and the Mireng family was destroyed by the Xianfei of the Momen, just before coming to Xiangang. This is the biggest thing that has happened recently. If it involves fortune, it is likely to be these three parties for the time being. But when Qinglang Club destroyed the Nangang family before, your majesty did not sense the change in fortune. Zhu Pingsheng said in a deep voice. The Mireng family was destroyed, so what about Mireng Xianan? Hearing this, Emperor Zhao asked with a gloomy face. The status of the four general envoys of Jiangnan and the Xianjian division is not ordinary. Mireng Xianan was killed by Xianfei and many masters of the demon sect using the heavenly demon blood sword. Zhu Pingsheng told the details of what happened to the Mireng family in Jiangnan. I didn't expect that she could find out that Mireng Xianan was one of the four general envoys of Jiangnan. Apart from the four general envoys and you and me, I'm afraid that only the subordinates under his command know his identity. The person who leaked this secret cannot live. Emperor Zhao said coldly. Then his brows frowned slightly. I understand. Then how will Xianfei decide? This matter happened in Jiangnan, and the Jiangnan Pacification Division took action. It's time to show his existence, otherwise it would be a waste of me to put him there. The Capital Pacification Division has declined a bit during the years when I was in seclusion. Since the four of them didn't manage it well, let someone replace it. We can't always be suppressed and beaten. Emperor Zhao said. I understand. Zhu Pingsheng accepted the order. Du Guiwei returned to the South China Sea. What did he do? Emperor Zhao asked. Du Guiwei and Xian'ai Pavilion, 10 directions General Guan Yushan divided and took down the forces around the North and South Grand Canal. The next step should probably be to mobilize manpower, but I have not found out who supports Du Guiwei, Zhu Pingsheng said. After such a long time, I have not been able to find someone who supports him. This person's plan is not simple. From now on, my evil dragon body will be completed within a year. I must find him before then. Now that the forces of the Great Zhao dynasty appear frequently, you can also ask them to help investigate. As long as we can get the results. Emperor Zhao looked at Zhu Pingsheng and said, I will make arrangements here. Your Majesty, the people sent by Yin Yang cult were killed. The one who took action was Guan Qi from Xian'ai Pavilion. He was suspected to have blood power, breaking through the power limit of the remaining domain on the opponent. When he said this, Zhu Pingsheng frowned. Blood power. Hearing Zhu Pingsheng's words, Emperor Zhao's eyes condensed slightly. If it is the power of blood, Chyanaya Pavilion is probably a force supported by someone. Emperor Zhao said in a deep voice. In addition to Guan Qi from Chyanaya Pavilion, there is also Lan Chengbi from King Lan Club, who has also entered the Heavenly Gate. But Lan Chengbi is very lucky. He entered the Heavenly Gate with the daughter of the Qin family, the 10th hall of the 18 halls of Chyanaya, and almost couldn't enter the Heavenly Gate. It was the young dragon leader of King Lan Club who used the power of his body to help them. Zhu Pingsheng said. Su Chen used the power of his body again. Hearing Zhu Pingsheng's words, Emperor Zhao's eyes condensed slightly. Yes, it is different from the first time. The force supporting King Lan Club is not simple. Zhu Pingsheng said in a deep voice. Just pay attention. But Su Chen is not simple. He used the power of his body to help Lan Chengbi and others. I believe that even if Lan Chengbi joined Chyanaya in 18 halls, he would still do him a favor. Is there any movement from King Chen? Emperor Zhao asked afterwards. Your Majesty, His Highness King Chen stayed for a few days in a place 3 days away from the capital. Didn't he make any movement during these few days? But since something happened to the Mirren family, His Highness King Chen should not be able to sit still and will immediately bring people back to the capital. According to my guess, the other party should have moved as well. And my subordinates have secretly sent He Wufeng to lead people to the East China Sea to investigate. I believe the island, where the Chengsheng Society is located, will be found soon. Zhu Pingsheng said. Okay, if there is any news, let me know in time. Emperor Zhao waved his hand and said. Yes. Zhu Pingsheng bowed and left. At this moment, in a courtyard in the capital, the leader of the Chyanaya sect, Yan Ruiyu, was sitting in the hall. Below her, Liu Liner and Liu Ozong were standing. Master, the 7th Prince Liu asked us when to take action. Liu Ozong asked in a low voice. Mirren King Chen has been in Lichen for so many days, he should be waiting for us to take action. If we take action, we may be ambushed by the other party. Yan Ruiyu said in a deep voice. Liu is doubting our sincerity when he sees that we are not taking action. Don't worry about that. Cooperation is not the reason for us to act rashly. We are just cooperating with him. What's more, I got the news that the Mirren family in Jiangnan was destroyed by the heavenly concubine of the devil sect. Mirren King Chen has a close relationship with the Mirren family. I believe she can't sit still at this moment. He will leave soon, Yan Ruiyu said. While speaking, a man in black tights walked in. Master, this is the information from Licheng. The black-clothed man who came in handed a small bamboo tube to Yan Ruiyu. Mirren King Chen has left. Liu Zhang, go and invite Gangs and Mingjing to come. Yan Ruiyu stood up and said. Yes. Liu Zhang immediately took the order and left the mansion of the 7th prince. Liu looked at the secret letter in front of him and smiled. When the Lai family was in trouble before, he thought that only his side among the princes suffered losses. But now that the Mirren family has been bloodbathed, the 4th Prince Liu Long is in a similar situation as him. Although the Mirren family rarely helped Liu Long, the Mirren family was the maternal family of the 4th Prince Liu Long anyway. It was very important to the status of the 4th prince. Now that he and the maternal family of the 4th Prince Liu Long were in trouble, he didn't have to face the siege of other princes alone. Your Highness, I just got the news that Mirren King Chen has come to the capital, and the people of the Chyanaya sect are ready to move, Gongsun Mingjing said. Normal, Mirren King Chen must be anxious when something happened to the Mirren family. Let the people of the Chyanaya sect handle this matter. I will pay a visit to Master Xianmi when I'm there. Liu said. The situation is not good now. He wants to use Master Xianmi to make others afraid of him. As long as others are afraid of him, he will be stable for the time being, and he can also join others in encircling the 4th prince. While speaking, an attendant came to report. Your Highness, the 12th prince is here to pay a visit. Liu he came to see me, but I didn't expect that the first person to move would be the old 12th. The 7th prince murmured in his mouth. Chapter 888, the second elder of the Immortal Society's purpose, a trace of the imperial bloodline. Zhenfengxiu Tower. Bei Chaofei sat in front of the desk. He was looking at a secret letter in his hand. Yuan Suan asked Bei Chaofei to investigate some things about the demon sect, Qianfei in the palace. Cheyenne Fei escaped from the Zhao Emperor's palace. The Great Zhao Palace is full of powerful people. How did Cheyenne Fei leave? Su Chen wanted to know. Now that there is a mall, as long as they put the secret letter in, they can use it to communicate, which is very convenient. Cheyenne Fei, inside the palace. Bei Chaofei frowned. He sent people to secretly infiltrate the palace, but without exception, all disappeared. It can be seen that the palace is not simple. Creaky. The door was pushed open. Nalan Rangayan, dressed in white, walked in. Mirren Chen sent a letter, wanting to ask the owner of the building to do her a favor. Nalan Rangayan said, after entering the door. Mirren Chen, didn't she go to the capital with the servants of the Eternal Life Society? What does she need my help with? Bei Chaofei frowned slightly. Then he asked in a deep voice, is it about the Mirren family? The Mirren family was destroyed by the demon sect, and Mirren Chen should have known about it at the first time. Asking him for help is probably about the Mirren family. Master, you guessed wrong, Your Highness Chen. I would like to ask you to ask the price of asking Deputy Pavilion Master Tai Zhan Tang to take action. Deputy Pavilion Master Tai to take action? Bei Chaofei frowned slightly. After Tai Zhan Tang came to the capital, he has not left and is sitting in the Golden Wind and Rain Tower. In the past 2 days, because the Iron Blood flag has integrated a ray of Iron Blood Dragon Soul, his strength has increased greatly, and he is consolidating his cultivation. She asked Deputy Pavilion Master Tai to take action. What does she want to do? Bei Chaofei was a little confused. Protect her so that she can return to the capital smoothly? Your Highness Chen said that she has always been keenly aware of danger, and she is in great danger this time. Nalan Rangayan said in a deep voice. Yes. Hearing this, Bei Chaofei's eyes condensed slightly. Sensing that he is in danger, according to reason, the Xianjian division should be using the servants of the Changsheng Society to fish. Will some big shot appear? Mirren Chen has some relationship with the master, and it just so happens that the strength of the Deputy Pavilion Master Tai has increased greatly, and he also wants to take action to see, Bei Chaofei said. Of course, he was also very excited because his own strength had also increased dramatically. If he took action this time, he could use the heaven-devouring Vajra finger to devour the opponent's essence and blood and increase his own strength. Master, why do I feel like you want to take action? Nalan Rangayan looked at Bei Chaofei and said, recently, the young master gave me something, and I really want to try it. Can I kill the sea concentrated strongman? If he killed the sea concentrated strongman, devoured their essence and blood, and added the divine power information he had comprehended, he believed that he could condense his own divine power. It's been a long time since he fought, and fighting can make him stronger. Bei Chaofei said. Hearing Bei Chaofei's words, Nalan Rangayan's eyes moved slightly. I will go with you, too. Maybe I can get close to His Highness Chen by then. Nalan Rangayan said. Okay. When you meet His Highness Chen, ask him about the demon sect, Heavenly Concubine. The demon sect attacked the Mirren family, and it was Heavenly Concubine who led it. The clues about Heavenly Concubine are all in the palace. His Highness Chen should know something about it. Bei Chaofei said. As he spoke, he stood up. I will ask Deputy Pavilion Master Tai. Then we will set off and leave the capital secretly. Capital Tantric Buddhism, Dafan Temple. Gongsun Mingjing appeared in the meditation room of Master Xianmi, one of the national masters of the Great Zhao dynasty. Master Xianmi sat on a cushion, wearing a purple and gold cassock, and exuded a strange charm. He had kind eyes and a peaceful demeanor, and was holding a Buddhist ritual. Greetings, Master. Gongsun Mingjing saluted Master Xianmi. Master, Mirren Chen should arrive at Xiangcheng outside the capital tomorrow. Senior sisters and the others have already left. Gongsun Mingjing transmitted the message. Then he said, His Highness the 7th Prince wants to go up the mountain to pay respect to the Master again, and wants to ask when the Master is free. Send the Prince down in 3 days, and I will ask the people of Dafan Temple to support him then. Master Xianmi said. In secret, he transmitted the message. When will your Xianx in Dafa be able to be cultivated and completed? My disciple's Xianx in Dafa has reached a bottleneck and cannot break through to the last level. Is that so? After this incident, I will come to you and help you break through that level. Master Xianmi transmitted the message and waved his hand. Gongsun Mingjing showed a happy expression on his face and turned to leave the room. After Gongsun Mingjing left, it seems that I have to leave too. I hope that Mirren Chen can have a trace of the blood of the Upper Elm Emperor family left by Emperor Zhao. Master Xianmi said in his heart. Someone. A little monk walked in from outside the door. Master, I want to meditate. No one is allowed to enter my room for 2 days. Disciple obeys. The little monk nodded, closed the door and left. The sun rose and set. Time passed. Late at night, it was quiet. There was an inn on the way from Xiangcheng to the capital. Mirren Chen was sitting in a room in the courtyard. In addition to Mirren Chen, there was also a woman in purple clothes, who sat with her eyes closed. Your Highness, you are a little uneasy. The purple-shirted woman with closed eyes seemed to sense Mirren Chen's heartbeat and spoke. For some reason, the closer I get to the capital, the stronger my heartbeat becomes. Mirren Chen said with a worried look on her face. She was even more solemn in her heart, because she would have such a reaction every time she encountered danger. This time her heartbeat was so strong, it was a feeling of extreme danger. She had this ability when she was born. Don't worry, Your Highness King Chen. This time, Master Zhu has made arrangements. If the people from the Eternal Life Society show up, they can't leave. The purple-shirted woman said. Suddenly, the purple-shirted woman opened her eyes turned cold, and she slapped her palms. The door of the room was opened, and she jumped out. Come out. The voice was loud, but the small courtyard seemed extremely quiet, as if no one was there. Mirren Chen's face changed, and he quickly left the room, and went to the next door. There was no movement in the room. His face changed, and he slapped his palms, and the door of the room was opened. Your Highness, the people from the Chengsheng Society are here. You must protect us. Someone in the room said nervously. Puff. While speaking, he spat out a mouthful of blood. Then he quickly began to use his power to fight against the things in his body. What's going on? Mirren Chen's eyes condensed. These people have been with them all the time and have not come into contact with any outsiders. How could this happen? He looked into the courtyard. When she turned around, a burly figure slowly walked out of the dark, and his facial features could not be seen clearly, but the eyes revealed were extremely cold. Hand over those people, I'm leaving. The voice of the person who came was very cold. Just you? The purple-shirted woman said coldly after the other party spoke. As soon as the voice fell, the burly figure moved, raised his palm, and slapped the purple-shirted woman. The speed was so fast, and the palm wind was fierce. You dare to come out with this little strength? You are really looking for death. Just as the burly figure of the man moved, the purple-shirted woman disappeared under his palm, and appeared again, already behind the other party, with a flash of cold light in his hand. The sword light instantly pierced from behind the other party. It pierced through the other party's heart. A cold look appeared on her face. But when a cold look appeared on her face, the burly figure whose body was pierced by him suddenly turned around, and his palm suddenly hit the purple-shirted woman's chest. The terrifying power poured into the other party's body in an instant. Bang, bang, bang. The vitality of the whole body disappeared instantly, and fell to the ground, with a look of astonishment. The other party's heart was pierced. Why didn't the other party die? The face of the person who shot was still indifferent. There was no expression. Chapter 889. 3 ghosts from the Heavenly Supervisory Division. The second elder appears. Puppet. Seeing this situation, Mirren Chen's eyes condensed. He knew that this burly man should be just a puppet. Otherwise, he would die if his heart was pierced. Boom. At this time, a figure fell, and his palm was like an eagle's claw, directly grabbing the burly man's head. Swish. The burly man's head was directly taken off. The body fell to the ground, and blood flowed from the neck. The man was dressed in black, and wore a green evil ghost mask. Meet your highness. The man threw the head aside, and saluted Mirren Chen. Then he said in a cold voice, if you are here, please show yourself. I didn't expect that Zhu Pingsheng would actually send out the green-faced ghost, one of the 3 evil ghosts under his command. A cold voice came out. As this cold voice appeared, a figure slowly walked out. The figure was slender, and it was a woman. But she was wearing a veil on her face, so her face could not be seen clearly. Green-faced ghost, it's not a wise move for you to let me show up. These people's betrayal is actually useless to you. You should know that. So handing them over is the best result. The veiled woman said coldly. The work of the Xianjian division is not something you can control. Since you have appeared, then if you are captured, you may know more. The voice of the green-faced ghost was very cold. Capture me. It seems that your real purpose is to let us come. Hearing the words of the green-faced ghost, the veiled woman spoke. Of course, these people are useless, but they are from your eternal life association. You will not let them go. So, master, the purpose over there is for you. Follow me, and I will spare your life. The voice of the green-faced ghost sounded, and a dark aura emanated from his body. His eyes became cold and bloodthirsty, making the originally quiet night seem particularly cold. The air of killing was pervasive. As he spoke, his figure walked step by step towards the woman who appeared. The movements were slow, and a divine power burst out from his body. When the divine power appeared, a blood-colored aura surged out of his body, forming layers of blood mist. Divine power, Xianai in moonlight, the woman in black shouted, and a shadow appeared behind her, with moonlight flowing in the shadow. Under the moonlight, a sword light appeared. The sword light was cold, like the moonlight in the sky, and it came towards the green-faced ghost. Xianai in moonlight sword, you are Yan Ruai of Xianai sect. Seeing the moonlight and sword light, the green-faced ghost's face turned cold. He raised his palm and slapped it out. A strong blood-colored energy burst out from his palm, and the blood energy pressed towards the sword light like a waterfall. The two forces collided, and the energy shook and formed ripples. At this moment, a black figure appeared in the courtyard like a ghost. The figure that appeared moved his palm towards King Chen, looking for death. Dare to attack his highness. Just as this figure reached out to grab King Chen, a violent voice sounded in the courtyard. Along with the violent voice, a ferocious arm appeared, with a sharp point on the arm and a scarlet cold light on the point. As soon as it appeared, it grabbed the black figure. One-armed ghost. Seeing this arm, the black figure showed a look of surprise on his face, and his body suddenly turned, and retreated behind him at a high speed. Just as he retreated, roar, a huge roar appeared behind him. A figure like a giant beast appeared, put his hands together, and fell down with a bang. The fleeing figure's face changed in shock. The ki on his body burst out with all his strength, and punched out. Boom. The two forces collided. The sound was terrible, and the earth shook. Puff. The man in black spurted out a mouthful of blood. At the moment he spurted out blood, the ferocious arm that had attacked before appeared on his chest, and was about to pierce his chest. Bang. But when the arm collided with the opponent's chest, a layer of black light appeared on the opponent's chest. Blocked this fierce attack, but the terrifying force acted on his body. Puff. The other party spat out blood and flew backwards. The burly giant appeared behind him, moved his body, and rushed towards the flying figure. He punched out at the other party's head. He had a treasured robe for defense, so he smashed his head. Boom. Just when his fist was about to hit the black shadow, an old man in a grey robe appeared behind the figure. The old man looked ordinary, but his hair was white and his expression was cold. He raised his hand and punched out. It collided with the fist of the giant man. Bang. The giant man was shocked and stepped back several steps. He looked at the old man who appeared. The third elder of the Chengsheng society, Hua Pingshan. The giant man's eyes condensed. I didn't expect that the three war ghosts under Zhu Pingsheng would all come. Today is a good time to kill you, and take back some benefits. The person who appeared had a cold look in his eyes. This person exuded a very strange aura, which was cold and chilly. The figure that was knocked away stood up slowly, with cold sweat on his forehead and his face was extremely pale. If it weren't for the old man's action, his head would have been smashed just now. Bang. At this moment, the green-faced ghost who had fought with the black-clothed woman before, fell down after a hard collision with the other party. Kill us, do you think that only the three of us ghosts are here? This is a big fish. The green-faced ghost showed joy in his eyes. There are others. When Hua Pingshan heard the words of the green-faced ghost, his eyes condensed. Hua Pingshan, come with me. A low voice appeared, and when the voice appeared, a man wearing armor and holding a long sword in his hand walked out of the dark. Not good, let's go. When he saw this figure, The grey-clothed old man's face changed, grabbed the injured person, and turned to leave. He didn't even think about fighting with the man in armor. Seeing this, the black-clothed woman also turned and left. Boom. The man in the suit shot out. His armor was like feathers, not causing any trouble to his figure. Old third, you stay. Protect his highness. We'll chase. The green-faced ghost said to the giant who appeared last. After that, he and another person chased after him. In the blink of an eye, all the figures disappeared. There is such a strong man in the Xianjian division. Chen looked a little shocked, muttering in her mouth. She knew too little about the Xianjian division. After that, she turned around and went into the room. Just as he turned around, the giant standing in the courtyard suddenly became ferocious. A terrifying blood and ki power burst out of his body, but these blood and ki powers seemed to be pressed into his body by a gravity. Swish. Swish. In an instant, his skin cracked, and blood spurted out. The giant wanted to roar, but his neck seemed to be grabbed by a huge force, and he couldn't make a sound at all. And his body seemed to be under a terrifying gravity. Huge cracks appeared, and the thick thighs were pressed to the ground. Swish. In this situation, a light flashed behind his head, piercing from the back of his head to his forehead. Blood flowed out from the wound between his eyebrows. The body fell to the ground with a plop. Then a figure wearing a black robe and a mask on his face appeared behind the big man. The eyes revealed looked at Chen coldly. It is rumored that Emperor Zhao has the blood of the emperor family in the upper realm. I wonder if you have it in your blood. I hope you won't let me down. A hoarse and indifferent voice sounded in Chen's ears. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 890, Betrayals swallows the blood and gathers divine power. Bloodline? Hearing the other party's voice, Chen's face changed. Your goal this time is not them, but me. Chen looked at the other party. Her body unconsciously retreated, and she said in surprise. She knew why she had such a strong sense of danger today. It turned out that the danger came from here. Chen, you are very smart, but it's a pity. The voice was hoarse with a sigh. The exposed eyes showed a cold light. The cold light was dark and strange, forming a vortex. Chen looked at the other party's eyes, and her mind was involuntarily drawn. The whole person seemed to enter a dark ocean vortex, full of fear. Suddenly, swish, a bright black light spot appeared and went to the back of the masked man's head. Huh. The masked man raised his eyebrows immediately. Turning around, his palm made a fist and punched out. The terrifying fist force exploded in the palm, shattering the black light. But when he made a move, Chen, who was previously confused, regained his mind. His face changed greatly, and his figure quickly distanced himself from the masked man. He looked at the masked man with horror. His mind was just controlled by the other party. This person can control people's minds, Chen said sternly. I didn't expect that there is still someone here. The breath is hidden so well. It really surprises me. The masked man looked at the person who just attacked him. His eyes were cold and cold. Dare to ruin his good deeds. This person must be killed. I really didn't expect that the Eternal Life Society is actually plotting against the bloodline of the royal family. The person who appeared was Betrayals. Just when Chen's mind was confused, he took the lead. Although his speed was very fast, the other party was sensitive. When he moved, the other party felt it. He dodged his finger without any effort. You are average in strength, but you dare to show up. Are you really looking for death? The masked man sneered. The person who appeared, the true energy and blood in his body, have not reached the level of concentration in the sea. He can kill at will. Let me see how you kill me. A pair of boxing gloves appeared in Betrayals' palm. Layers of cold light were faintly emitted from his fists. Not a bad treasure, but this is not your capital to challenge the strong, the masked man said, and a sound wave suddenly appeared in his mouth. These sounds rushed into another house. Bang! 4 figures came out of the house one after another. These people had dull eyes, as if they had lost their souls. Kill him. After receiving the order, the four figures rushed towards Betrayals. Betrayals frowned and quickly retreated. The four figures burst out with true energy, and in a blink of an eye, they surrounded Betrayals in the middle. In an instant, four terrifying auras locked onto Betrayals. The four of them are controlled by me, although they can't show the strength of the sea now. But I can still kill you. You can't leave now. The masked man looked at Betrayals with cold eyes. He had no intention of personally taking action against Betrayals. You mean they surrounded and killed me? Do you think they can kill me with their help? Betrayals couldn't help but sneer. A fierce look appeared in his eyes. The four people had not recovered from their previous injuries. Now their minds were controlled by him. Their strength was much lower than their own. However, besieging a warrior whose stanchion had turned into a sea was like catching a turtle in a jar. They were sure to win. This person seemed to still want to resist. You don't know whether to live or die. Boom. Before the masked man could speak, a fist appeared on Betrayals' palm, and a layer of dark black appeared. He clenched his palm into a fist. His body suddenly moved, and the whole person suddenly turned into a residual image, and appeared in front of one of them. The fist blasted out without giving the other party a chance to react. The fist blasted on the other party's body, shattering the other party's internal energy. The internal energy was repelled, and the fist suddenly opened. The finger in the hand pointed and inserted into the other party's body with a hiss. Suddenly, the terrifying blood essence poured into Betrayals' body from the other party. Ah! The man screamed. But the scream was short. The blood and essence in his body disappeared. He succeeded in one blow. He waved his hand and slapped three palms in an instant. He attacked the three people surrounding him. The energy in his palm surged like thunder. Bang, bang, bang. The three people were repelled in an instant. He repelled the opponent in an instant. Betrayals appeared again, and pointed out three fingers in an instant. Three black light spots burst out from his fingertips, forming three black light fingers. The three black light fingers emitted a terrifying wave. Bang! They instantly hit the bodies of the three people. This time, the three people spit out blood at the same time and flew backwards. Betrayals came in front of the two people in an instant, and inserted his hands into their heads at the same time. The blood and essence flowed out from the other party's body. Ah! Ah! The two screamed, but turned into mummies in an instant, and were thrown aside by Betrayals. For a moment, only one person was left. The masked man showed a look of astonishment on his face. He didn't expect Betrayals to kill three people in a blink of an eye. His eyes turned cold. A breath appeared on his body, and pressed towards Betrayals. Betrayals suddenly felt a terrifying pressure coming, and his whole body was a little bent. Ants shouldn't struggle. The masked man's eyes were gloomy. The momentum on his body suppressed Betrayals. Betrayals tried his best to resist the pressure from the other party, but the other party's strength was too much beyond him. For a while, he couldn't move at all. Betrayals' eyes became ferocious. The essence and blood he had just absorbed began to burn. During this burning process, Betrayals drew out a breath. This breath formed a finger shadow. Divine power. Seeing this situation, the masked man's eyes condensed. Kill. The remaining person rushed towards Betrayals at this moment, and slapped his palm on Betrayals' head. Divine power. Break the sky with one finger. When the other party's palm was about to slap him on the head, Betrayals roared. Boom. The finger shadow suddenly burst out with an indestructible aura, shattering the pressure that enveloped him. In addition, the finger pointed out the sky-devouring diamond finger. The fingertip pierced through the opponent's palm, destroyed the opponent's arm, and inserted into the opponent's chest. The opponent's blood essence turned into a stream of blood, and flowed into Betrayals' body. Good qualifications, good methods, suitable to be my puppet. Seeing Betrayals' current state, a hint of joy appeared in the eyes of the masked man. Boom. As his voice fell, an invisible force burst out from his eyes, and flew towards Betrayals. Sir, you are a bit bullying. A voice appeared, and a breath of iron and blood swarmed out, shattering the invisible energy that enveloped Betrayals. The pressure disappeared. Betrayals restrained his breath, and tried his best to calm the power in his body. Chapter 891, Mind Attack, Iron Blood Dragon Soul. Iron-blooded aura, the Cheyenne Pavilion Taizan Tang who appeared not long ago. Sensing the iron-blooded aura, the masked man's eyes condensed and he spoke. Yes, I'm Tai Tang. As he spoke, Tai Tang, carrying the iron-blooded banner, walked out from the dark. He looked at the masked man. The fighting spirit was filled in his eyes. You shy in our pavilion, want to be enemies with our Changsheng society? Looking at the appearance of Tai Tang, the masked man said with cold eyes. There is already a feud between us. Jiangnan Holy Sword Lake, my Shianaya Pavilion West Pavilion Deputy Pavilion Master, killed your 4 elders. If it weren't for you, our West Pavilion, Deputy Pavilion Master, Ren Kaiaxing would not have stepped into the Heavenly Gate and left. You said that we are not enemies. Can we still be friends? I really want to know who you are. Tai Tang looked at the other party and said, you don't know who I am, so you show up and take action? The masked man looked at Tai Tang and said coldly, in the Eternal Life Society, only the second elder Gu Xianan is good at spiritual power. Mirren Chen spoke at this time. Meet Deputy Pavilion Master Ta and Building Master Bei. When he told the other party's identity, Mirren Chen bowed slightly to Tai Tang and Bei Chaofi. It seems that you invited these 2 people. Mirren Chen, I still underestimated you. Seeing Mirren Chen greet the other party, the masked man stared. It seems that I can only take Mirren Chen with me if I kill you. Let me see how strong you are, Tai Tang. As Gu Xianan's voice fell, a surge of powerful true energy rolled up behind him like a 100-foot sea wave. The momentum was huge. It shook all around, and the surrounding courtyard walls were shattered under this true energy. Bei Chaofei appeared beside Mirren Chen. He took Mirren Chen and went far away to avoid the sweeping range of this true energy. In the airwave, the terrible aura of Gu Xianan permeated. At this moment, Gu Xianan released his ultimate strength, as if he would trigger the gate of heaven above the void, if he was any stronger. Tai Tang, let me tell you today that there are some things you cannot participate in. Gu Xianan's cold voice echoed around. Changsheng, soul-breaking palm. Gu Xianan did not use his divine power, but slapped out with one palm, and the true energy burst out from his body, merged with his palm, and slapped down. The palm tore the void with terrifying power, and turned into a huge palm print, heading towards Tai Tang. Under this palm, Tai Tang's pupils moved slightly. The iron and blood energy in his body surged, and the blood energy was like a wave, covering his body. The true energy in his body also surged like a giant whale, but it did not overflow from his body, but gathered on his arm with the blood and energy. Big flag wind and cloud palm. The palm was out, and the blood and true energy surged, and the wind and clouds surged in the surrounding sky. Boom, the wind and clouds collided with the true energy that permeated the air, forming a series of low rumbling sounds. In this low rumbling sound, the 2 palms collided. Bang! The deafening energy exploded. It spread in all directions. Secret technique, endless soul breaking. Just as the palms collided, a terrifying mental force suddenly formed a black airflow from the opponent's body, covering Tai Tang. The speed was very fast. The opponent's palm was initially launched with great momentum. In fact, it was for this mental attack. The terrifying mental vortex penetrated the aura and covered Tai Tang's mind. Tai Tang suddenly felt a black spot appear in his mind. This black spot instantly began to spread, forming an endless ocean. For a time, Tai Tang was wrapped in a black mental energy. Seeing this scene, Mirren Chen's expression changed, and his face showed worry. It is rumored that the mental attack is weird and extremely powerful. Deputy Pavilion Master Tai is covered by the other party's mental power. Will something happen? Mirren Chen looked at Bei Chaofei and said, Deputy Pavilion Master Tai has inherited a strong will, which is indestructible. It's not that easy for the other party to defeat Deputy Pavilion Master Tai's will. Bei Chaofei said coldly. Tai Tang has his own will. Iron-blooded will is a kind of inherited spirit, a kind of belief. It is also a source of power. Hearing Bei Chaofei's words, the worry on Mirren Chen's face disappeared for the most part. His eyes were fixed on the battlefield. At this moment, Tai Tang's mind was shrouded in a black ocean. A black figure emerged from the ocean. It was Gu Xianan wearing a mask. I will smash your mind and refine your body into a puppet. The black figure made a cold voice. You can't smash my soul. When Taizan Tang was speaking, a big iron-blooded flag appeared in his mind. Holding the big flag, the iron-blooded aura permeated. Boom. In the mind, the figure held the big flag and killed the other party. The will is condensed, but what about it? Soul is broken into the gate of heaven. Boom. The black figure disappeared, and a shadow of the heaven gate appeared in his mind, pressing towards Taizan Tang. Iron blood breaks the heaven gate. The big flag in his hand collided with the heaven gate. Boom. The heaven gate was shattered, but the black power surged out from the heaven gate, and countless black figures rushed towards Taizan Tang. Boom. Those shadows that rushed into his side were shattered, but the shattered black energy was stained in Taizan Tang's mind. Taizan Tang's body gradually began to be eroded by the black aura. Half of his body was eroded by the black light, gradually gathering all over his body, and only the head was left for a while. Once the head was eroded by the black power, then Taizan Tang would be controlled. Seeing this situation, Mirren King Chen couldn't help but look at Bei Chaofi. Bei Chaofi's eyes condensed slightly. The Changsheng society is a little bit unusual, he murmured in his mouth, and his face showed a tense and solemn look. Boom. At this time, Taizan Tang began to change with the iron blood banner on his back, and a dragon roar sounded from the iron blood banner. With the dragon roar, an iron blood dragon shadow rushed into Taizan Tang's body from the banner. At this moment, Taizan Tang's mind began to change, and a blood-colored dragon shadow appeared. The dragon shadow appeared and opened its dragon mouth. A huge suction force appeared. All the black figures in the sky around were swallowed into the mouth. And those black mental energies also went towards the dragon mouth like a tide. Seeing this situation, Gu Xianhan, who took action, changed his face. Back then, he used this trick to kill Xianmi Shangren of the Tantric sect with the power of his soul. From then on, he pretended to be Xianmi Shangren and hid in the Tantric sect. Unexpectedly, Taizan Tang broke his trick. Your dragon soul. Puff. Before he finished speaking, a mouthful of blood spurted out in an instant. The surrounding mental power disappeared, and the iron blood banner here emitted a brilliant blood color. Taizan Tang opened his eyes instantly, grabbed his palm, and the iron blood banner behind him flew into his palm. He raised his palm and attacked Gu Xianhan. Gu Xianhan's expression changed, and a black wooden sculpture appeared in his hand. Gu Xianhan formed a seal with his palm. The wooden sculpture emitted a brilliant black light and went towards Taizan Tang. Chapter 892, Invisible Soul Chaser, Yao Yu Liangxing Ice Phoenix Bloodline. Explode. The black wooden sculpture banged and emitted a black energy. In the explosion, Changsheng, soul escape. Gu Xianhan shouted. The attack failed, and he had no intention of fighting with Taizan Tang. He turned into a black shadow and escaped in an instant. Taizan Tang's iron blood banner was blocked and missed. Boom. A huge deep pit appeared on the ground. Taizan Tang fell down. He looked at Gu Xianhan who was escaping, revealing a trace of solemnity. The attack missed. Taizan Tang's eyes condensed slightly. He wanted to move, but his expression changed and stopped. Deputy Pavilion Master Ta, the other party is injured. Should we chase him? Seeing this, Bei Chaofi stepped forward and said, Your Highness King Chen, we have completed the task you entrusted, and I hope the promised reward will be sent to Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower. Bei Chaofi, let's go. After that, he took Bei Chaofi away. After Taizan Tang and the others left, a man in black armor walked out of the dark. Greetings, Your Highness. The man in black armor. Seeing this man in black armor, Mirren King Chen's expression moved slightly. If Bei Chaofi and the others had not shown up just now, the man in black armor in the dark would probably have taken action in time. Taizan Tang paused, presumably because he sensed this person. The attack just now should have been able to stop Gu Xianhan. Mirren King Chen looked at the man in armor, who came out and said, Can't stop it. The man in armor replied, Yeah. Hearing the reply from the man in armor, Mirren King Chen frowned slightly. Can't you do it with the joint Thai Deputy Pavilion Master? I can't do it. Taizan Tang can get rid of the suppression of the mind and severely damage the other party's mind, but the other party's blood sacrifice can't stop him from escaping. I may be able to keep my mind, but I can't severely damage the other party's mind, the man said in a deep voice. Hearing this, Mirren King Chen didn't ask anything else. At this time, in a dense forest, Bei Chaofei and Tai Zhangtang paused. Deputy Pavilion Master Ta, if you had used all your strength just now, would you have been able to stop the other party? Bei Chaofei asked. Maybe, but when I was chasing, his aura was exposed and locked onto me. If he exposed his aura at this time, it means he doesn't want me to chase him. What's more, even if I chase him, judging from the means he showed, I may not be able to catch up with him. Tai Zhangtang said in a deep voice. Deputy Pavilion Master Ta, don't worry. When you were fighting just now, I sprinkled a portion of the invisible soul chasing powder I asked from the 5 poison boys around. That Gu Xiaonan has been stuck with it. Give me some time and I can find him. Bei Chaofei said. Okay. Find this person and surround him when the time comes. Tai Zhangtang said. Then the two left quickly. Jiangnan. In a house. In the back garden. An old man in a brocade robe was pruning branches. Not far behind the old man, Li Muhan, the deputy commander of the Jiangnan Pacification Division, was standing respectfully. There was another person standing next to Li Muhan, who was Mo Huozhen, who came from Jiangbi. The two of them just stood there, not daring to disturb the old man who was pruning the branches. Suddenly, a middle-aged man in a grey robe appeared beside the garden. Seeing the man in the grey robe, Li Muhan and Mo Huozhen both saluted the middle-aged man at the same time. Meetings, General Manager Bu. The middle-aged man nodded to the two of them. Slowly walked towards the old man who was pruning the branches. The old man also sensed the other party, put down the flower scissors in his hand, turned around and said, "What happened?" The middle-aged butler came to the old man. "Master, there is a letter from the capital." The middle-aged butler replied, "You go back first, and come to see me tomorrow." Hearing this, the old man said to the two standing. Seeing that the old man asked them to come tomorrow, Mo Huozhen and Li Muhan showed joy on their faces. "Come to see the adults tomorrow." After saying that, they bowed and retreated. Murong Xiaonan is one of the 4 general envoys of the Xian GNC Jiangnan. Your Majesty is a little angry that the Murong family was destroyed by the Xian Fei, and said that the adults should take action. The middle-aged butler said, "Your Majesty, if I move, that means I will find Xian Fei and the others in Jiangnan. Do you have any news about Xian Fei?" The old man came to a pavilion. After he finished speaking, the middle-aged housekeeper quickly poured a cup for the old man, and had prepared tea long ago. The whereabouts of Xian Fei are not confirmed, but Qin Biming's traces are confirmed. I believe that Xian Fei can be found through him. Then take him to the Zhenfu Division prison first. I believe that, if Qin Biming is arrested, Xian Fei should move. As long as she moves, we can find his traces. She took Murong Xiaonan's body away at that time, and she should not have left Jiangnan yet. If I find him, I will do it myself. The old man finished drinking the tea in his hand and said, "Mo Huozhen came here for the affairs of the Jiangbi Huo family. What do you think?" Then the old man talked about the Huo family. "We should not participate in the disputes in the Jianghu, but your Majesty asked me to move, and there should be other purposes. Master Zhu should have something to say to me." The old man said softly, "You know Master Zhu well. Master Zhu wants you to test the Qinglang Society." The middle-aged housekeeper said, "The person in charge of the Qinglang Society in Jiangnan should be the second leader Li Zunhun. Please make an appointment with him for me." The old man said, after thinking for a moment, "I will go and make arrangements." The middle-aged housekeeper took the order and left. After the middle-aged housekeeper left, the old man frowned. Another place in Suqing, in an Emperor Zhao, has the blood of the upper realm emperor. No wonder so many people are afraid of Emperor Zhao. Su Chen muttered. Su Chen has seen the power of blood, and the power it bursts out is amazing. Guan Qi only stimulated the supreme hegemon blood, and he could shatter the power of a trace of the domain. So now Su Chen is a little afraid of people with blood power. Moreover, Emperor Zhao is also the blood of the emperor. A trace of the emperor's blood is probably very strong. The host's subordinates Yaoyu and Lion Crossing obtained a trace of Ice Phoenix blood from the Ice Phoenix essence, and were awarded with 2 orange lottery cards. Yaoyu Liangsing actually comprehended a trace of the Ice Phoenix bloodline. Amazing. Su Chen was pleasantly surprised. Hint, summon the character. Xiao Siwu applies to exchange for the condensation pill. Is Xiao Siwu going to break through the sea condensation? Su Chen agreed to the deal. Xiao Siwu seems to be still in Yangcheng. Is he going to break through the sea condensation at this moment? It shouldn't be a natural breakthrough. I'm afraid he has encountered some danger. Su Chen couldn't help thinking in his heart. Although it is possible to achieve the sea condensation with the help of pills, it should be better than breaking through on his own. Xiao Siwu has Li Zunhuan's guidance. He should accumulate divine power instead of using the condensation pill to break through. At this time, outside Yangcheng, Xiao Siwu, who was dressed in white, had a trace of blood on his body. Next to him, there was a woman in a green dress. The woman was Liu Qingchao. Not far from them, there were 3 people standing. The leader was an old man. Wan Beiqiang, the housekeeper of the Wan mansion, looked at Xiao Siwu with indifference. There were 2 people beside him, one holding a long sword and the other holding an iron fan. Chapter 893, The God in the Heart, condensed into momentum. Xiao Siwu's sword. Liu Qingchao, it turns out that you, a stinky bitch, hired the assassins from the Qinglang Society. The leader, Wan Beiqiang, looked at Liu Qingchao behind Xiao Siwu and yelled. Liu Qingchao behind Xiao Siwu looked a little bitter. As soon as she came back, the people of the Wan family started to attack her. If Xiao Siwu hadn't appeared, she would probably have been captured and taken to the Wan mansion. Xiao Siwu looked a little cold. He went to see Liu Qingchao because of the deal between Liu Qingchao and Su Chen. The Qinglang Society wanted to take over the Yangzhou Wan mansion and support Liu Qingchao to control Yangzhou. Xiao Siwu, you killed the 3rd young master. Take your head back today and sacrifice it to the 3rd young master. Wan Beiqiang's eyes were filled with murderous intent. Kill me, then why don't you move? Xiao Siwu's eyes were cold. In his right hand was a flying knife, and the energy on the flying knife was flowing, revealing endless sharpness. General Manager, I'll kill him. I don't believe his flying knife can be as stable as before. Boom. The next moment, the man holding the iron fan beside Wan Beiqiang stepped on the ground and used the iron fan in his hand to hit the vital points on Xiao Siwu's body. Xiao Siwu's eyes condensed. He raised his hand holding the flying knife, and the moment he raised it, the flying knife in his right hand flew out instantly. The knife was like a stream of light. I've been waiting for you at this moment. The man who made the move opened the iron fan in his hand instantly and went towards the flying knife. Bang! The flying knife collided with the fan of the iron fan, making a sound of metal collision. The man who made the move turned the iron fan in his hand, and the flying knife was shaken and fell to the ground. Sure enough, you are injured, and the power of the flying knife is weak. After blocking Xiao Siwu's flying knife with one blow, the man who made the move showed a ferocious smile on his face. Weak power, slow speed, you're dead now. He approached, closed the iron fan in his hand again, and then the iron fan in his hand was like a sharp sword, slashing towards Xiao Siwu. In an instant, a blade of air appeared on the iron fan and swept Xiao Siwu. HMPH. At this moment, a cold snort was heard. The knife energy on Xiao Siwu's body diffused and instantly condensed into a flying knife shape. The knife with the air. This is the sad little arrow luck method he got from Fang Yingkan through the trading platform recently. There is a certain number of knives. But if the knife is formed by the air, then as long as the knife energy is not exhausted, it is infinite. The flying knives appeared. In an instant, they attacked the person who made the move like a rainstorm. The knife energy whistled and crisscrossed, and the cold and piercing cold light turned into a piece of knife sound. The energy that slashed towards Xiao Siwu was shattered by the knife energy. Then the person holding the iron fan seemed to be in a sea of knives. The whole person's eyes were full of flying knives, and his heart was horrified, and a terrifying feeling of death came up. The hair on his body stood up, and the dead soul emerged. Not good. Not good. Under the rain of flying knives, the shadow of death appeared. The iron fan in his hand was immediately retracted and opened again, and his palm waved to block the rain of flying knives. However, clang clang clang, swish, swish, swish. The iron fan made clanging sounds when it blocked the places, but it couldn't block some places, and the lower body was pierced by the flying knife. Ah! He screamed. Because of the pain of the wound, his hand slowed down. Swish! A flying knife instantly pierced through his eyebrows. Blood spurted out. He fell to the ground. His face was filled with shock, fear, and disbelief. He thought he was about to succeed, but he was killed by the other party in this way. Such a bloody scene. The man holding the long knife and the general manager Wan Beichang became stiff. Liu Qingqiao, who was behind Xiao Siwu, saw this scene and his face was full of horror. If you want to kill me, you will also pay a price. Xiao Siwu's voice was cold. Really? But it seems that you have consumed a lot of your ki, and you can still burst out such a terrifying ki condensed knife. Wan Beichang, who came back to his senses, said with a cold look in his eyes. While speaking, Wan Beichang's mind was exploring the surroundings. Now the Qinglang society is in Jiangnan, but it is very powerful. He is a little bit unconvinced that only Xiao Siwu from the Qinglang society came to Yangcheng. There must be other masters in secret, so he has not made a move. But in this situation, the people he brought cannot suppress Xiao Siwu. I will suppress him with my divine power, and you kill him. Wan Beichang sent a voice message to the person holding the long sword beside him. Just at this time, a pill appeared in Xiao Siwu's hand. A special aura flowed on the pill. Xiao Siwu swallowed it in one gulp. Boom. The aura on his body began to surge. Kill. Seeing this situation, the person holding the long sword beside Wan Beichang moved his feet, and his figure shot out violently, and the sword energy around him flowed, colliding with the air. A sharp sound was made. The long sword in his hand came out instantly, and the sword light burst like a burst of thunder, sweeping towards Xiao Siwu. The aura on his body surged, and the flying knife in Xiao Siwu's hand reappeared. The energy flowed, and a special aura appeared on the flying knife. Swish. The flying knife in his hand flew out. Boom. At this moment, Wan Beichang made a move, and his divine power burst out. Divine power, Wanjin Gilyu. The divine power on Wan Beichang is a divine power that can affect the airflow. Once the divine power appears, the surrounding airflow seems to be controlled, forming a vortex. At this time, Xiao Siwu's flying knife was affected by this airflow, and the speed and power changed. Bang! The sword light enveloped the flying knife. The flying knife fell. Xiao Siwu's eyes condensed. The sword energy in his body appeared, forming a flying knife towards the sword holder. But these flying knives were still affected by the airflow. All shattered under the sword light. The flying knife is useless. Let's see what you can do. The sword holder's eyes were ferocious, and the long sword in his hand came out with a sword, and the sword energy was like a raging wave. Xiao Siwu's burst of energy was instantly destroyed under this sword energy. Is there no one? Seeing this situation, Wan Beichang said in his heart, and his mind was focused on all directions. Boom. At this time, a divine power appeared on Xiao Siwu's body. The shadow of the divine power was a person. This person was not Xiao Siwu, but looked a bit like Li Zunhun. This was Xiao Siwu's obsession. He pursued Xiao Li with all his heart. Li Zunhun was his obsession. He integrated it into his divine power. This was not a bonus from martial arts, but a bonus from his mind. Xiao Li's flying knife shocked the world with one knife. Once he made a move, it was never in vain. When this divine power appeared, the sword light of the sword holder was affected, and a crack appeared in his mind. Swish, a knife light flowed out. This knife light instantly pierced the sword light. The sword light disappeared, and a flying knife appeared on the neck of the sword holder. This divine power. Wan Beichang looked at the divine power that broke out from Xiao Siwu with a serious look. Although the shadow in the divine power was clean, he didn't know why he felt a sense of extreme danger in his heart. At this moment, Xiao Siwu stared at Wan Beichang with cold eyes, slowly raised his right hand, and a flying knife appeared between his white fingers. This flying knife is a little different from the previous one. The previous flying knife was clean, just a flying knife, but this flying knife appeared. With the help of Xiao Siwu's divine power, it was integrated with some divine power, making the flying knife crystal clear, like a perfect work of art. And it also exuded a breathtaking murderous aura. Chapter 894, Killing with One Knife, Wanfu, Diffy. If it weren't for you, my divine power would be even more perfect. Xiao Siwu's voice was a little cold. Although it's not perfect, it can kill you. Xiao Siwu stared at Wan Beiqiang. The blade light on his fingertips became stronger and stronger. The killing intent became stronger and stronger, and the atmosphere around him became more and more gloomy. The power of this knife must be terrifying. Humph. Wan Beiqiang snorted coldly. The divine power burst out and pressed towards Xiao Siwu. Just now, his mind had been observing the surroundings. Now he wanted to make a full effort to kill Xiao Siwu with one blow. If Xiao Siwu was killed, I believe the person behind Xiao Siwu would definitely show up. Boom. He raised his palm and a black energy appeared in his palm. Dark curtain, Xianju. Wan Beiqiang kicked the ground with his foot, and his body shot out and went towards Xiao Siwu. The speed was so fast that the surrounding airflow also pressed towards Xiao Siwu at this moment. Swish. The flying knife in Xiao Siwu's hand flew out. As the flying knife came out, the airflow began to twist. The daylight turned black in the blink of an eye. A black glass-like blade light appeared in the darkness, blending with the night, and appearing at the door of Wan Beiqiang. Roar. Wan Beiqiang slapped his palm. Clang. His palm blocked the flying knife. It collided with the flying knife. A terrifying power fluctuation broke out. Wan Beiqiang's eyes showed a ruthless look, and he wanted to shatter the flying knife with force. But the next moment, an unimaginable huge force burst out from the flying knife. Wan Beiqiang's whole body was shaken back several steps. His palm trembled when he slapped. His arm seemed to be hit by a 1,000-pound hammer. How could it be so heavy? Wan Beiqiang was surprised. The flying knife was only fast, but sharp. How could it be like this? Be careful. Just as Wan Beiqiang was thinking, a huge fear suddenly attacked him. Xiao Siwu attacked again. He roared. Swish. As he roared, another blade light appeared. This time the blade light was simpler and extremely fast, emitting a blade light at an extremely fast speed. The blade light blocked everyone's eyes, and Wan Beiqiang's vision was blocked. His throat hurt. Swish. Blood appeared, and his throat was pierced by the flying knife without any hindrance. Blood flowed out from the blade. One knife had unparalleled gravity, and the other knife was fast. Two knives killed Wan Beiqiang. Wan Beiqiang looked at the flying knife at his throat. Plop. His body fell to the ground. Wan Beiqiang's ki and power were no worse than Xiao Siwu, but even so, he still couldn't survive under the flying knife. Puff. At the moment Wan Beiqiang fell to the ground, Xiao Siwu also spit out a mouthful of blood. These two knives consumed all his energy. Wan Beiqiang's strength was above his. He had to admit this, so he burst out with 200% of his strength. Liu Qingqiao, who was beside him, saw this and immediately stepped forward. He supported Xiao Siwu. Let's go, Xiao Siwu said with a pale face. Now he couldn't make a third knife, and he would be killed by a stronger person. Liu Qingqiao hurriedly helped Xiao Siwu to leave. The two left quickly. Not long after they left, several figures appeared. Seeing the three bodies on the ground, their faces changed drastically. Send a signal. Something happened to Wan Zhongwen. One person spoke quickly. The murderer is injured and can't walk far. Let's chase him. Another person checked and said, swish, swish. At this moment, a knife light appeared. The bodies of the several people who appeared instantly turned into a ball of blood mist. Then a figure holding a long knife walked out of the dark. A man in black with a cold expression was Fu Hongsu, the fourth dragon leader of the Qinglang Society. He came to deal with the Wan Mansion in Yangcheng. Of course, Fu Hongsu alone could not complete the task of dealing with the Wan Mansion for the time being. Wan Mansion was able to take charge of Yangcheng, which was as famous as Jinling and Sucheng in Jiangnan County. Wan Chunlin's strength was definitely extraordinary. Ling Luoshi, Yuan Shizangsen, and Wang Zumui were also on their way. Yangcheng Wan Mansion. An old man in brocade clothes, with tiger eyes, was looking at the three bodies lying in front of him. From the wounds of Wan Zhongwen and the others, and the flying knives left on their bodies, it can be confirmed that the one who killed them, and the third young master was the same person. It should be Xiao Siwu from the Qinglang Society. In front of him, a middle-aged man in a black robe, and with a cold look in his eyes spoke. The old man in brocade clothes was Wan Chunhan, the controller of Wan Mansion, and the one who spoke was Zhu Feng, one of his 5 guardians. Qinglang Society? Wan Chunhan frowned slightly when he mentioned the Qinglang Society. Now the Qinglang Society is so powerful in Jiangnan that Wan Chunlin felt a little nervous. Father, the Qinglang Society killed the third brother, perhaps because they were entrusted with the task, but they saved Liu Qingchao and killed Wan Zhongwen, and I'm afraid they are targeting our Wan mansion. I'm afraid we have no way out now. At this time, a man in his 30s wearing brocade clothes walked in and spoke. Hello, young master. Zhu Feng saluted the visitor. The visitor was Wan Xiangchen, the eldest son of Wan Chunhan. Master, I'm afraid it's really as the eldest son said. After Zhu Feng saluted, he also spoke, but from the strength shown by the Qinglang Society, our Wan family may not be able to defeat it. Father, the Qinglang Society is strong, but their recklessness has also made many forces in Jiangnan dissatisfied. The Lai family may have a legitimate reason to destroy the Nangang family, but I, Wan Mansion, have not offended them. If they want to attack us, then they will attack other forces. Do you think the strength of Jiangnan will allow them to do this? Wan Xiangchen said. That's true, but someone must take the lead. Otherwise, these forces will not move. Wan Chunlin said in a deep voice. Father, I'm willing to ask my master to come. He has a good relationship with Tuo Bahan, the leader of the Jiangnan Water Alliance. If Tuo Bahan can come forward, I believe many forces will follow. At that time, let's see if the Qinglang Club can withstand the suppression of so many Jiangnan forces. As long as they are suppressed once, I believe that they, Qinglang Club, will be restrained. Wan Xiangchen said. Okay, there is no time to lose. You should do this quickly. Zhu Feng, you follow Xiangchen and bring a generous gift when you go. Wan Chunlin said. Yes. Zhu Feng accepted the order. Father, don't worry, I will return as soon as possible. Wan Xiangchen said, and the two of them quickly walked out of the hall. After the two left, Wan Chunlin's eyes flashed a gleam of light and turned to the backyard. After a while, Wan Chunlin came to a secret room, and there was a person standing in the secret room. This person was wrapped in a black robe, and his face and figure could not be seen clearly. It seems that you are in trouble here. Yes, I'm in trouble. The Qinglang Society is coming to my Wan mansion. They should be thinking of swallowing my Wan mansion. Wan Chunlin said in a deep voice. Humph, the Qinglang Society is really too unscrupulous. Hearing this, the visitor snorted coldly. What are your plans? The black-robed man said, the Qinglang Society is so unscrupulous in Jiangnan now. I believe there are many forces that can unite with me. Are you here to tell the Earth Concubine something? Wan Chunlin said. The Heaven Concubine Yan Ruxu took the opportunity to destroy the Mirren family and is now frantically gathering the remaining demon sect forces. She also designed to secretly eliminate the three great heavenly evils, which has affected the Earth Concubine. The black-robed man said. Chapter 895, South China Sea. Do for me, as if a god appeared. What are the plans for the Earth Concubine? Wan Chunlin said. The Earth Concubine cannot do many things in her current status, so she cannot show up. She asked me to come to see you, because she wants you to contact the Heaven Concubine Yan Ruxu to see if there is a black bead on Yan Ruxu. The black-robed man said. Contact the Heaven Concubine? Hearing the black-robed man's words, Wan Chunlin frowned slightly. I have no intersection with the Heaven Concubine here, so it's probably unlikely to contact her. Wan Chunlin said. The Heaven Concubine is making arrangements in Jiangnan, and you control Yangcheng. I believe she will accept you. It's just right to contact her on the grounds that the Qinglang Society has taken action against you. The black-robed man said. After hearing the black-robed man's words, Wan Chunlin pondered for a moment and said, this is indeed a good idea. Find a way to get in touch with Hanzhan Temple. Recently, the Loan Zen master of Hanzhan Temple has entered the Lingayan Grand Buddha Temple, a holy place of Buddhist Zen. If Hanzhan Temple is pulled into it, I believe it will be possible to get in touch with Buddhist Zen. The black-robed man said. You mean that Zen master Luo Yun entered Lingayan Grand Buddha Temple, a holy place of Zen Buddhism? Such news has not spread out. Wan Chunlin was slightly startled when he heard the news. I got it by accident. I have already told you the purpose of my coming. I will leave first. After that, the black-robed man walked out of the secret room. Inside the secret room, Chen was alone and fell into deep thought. Nanhei area Nanhei City. In a huge mansion. Du Guiwei stood at the entrance of the lobby with his hands behind his back. In the hall, there were two people sitting. One was a man with broad shoulders and a jade-like face. Although the man had a jade-like face, he exuded a strong domineering aura. There was a cold light in his eyes. He was a heroic figure. The other was a burly man with bronze skin and eyes like blades. He was domineering and calm. These two were the two strongest men under Du Guiwei. The man with a jade-like face was named Bei Yusheng, a white-faced scholar. The burly man was named Sheng Jiangnan, Your Highness. There is news coming from the two regions of the Grand Canal. Li Qin's of the Qinglang Society brought people from the Qinglang Society and controlled a lot of forces. Not only in the area we control, but also in the area of Guanyushan of Xian'ai Pavilion. Guanyushan did not react to this. Bei Yusheng said, Your Highness, the Qinglang Society is now very powerful in Jiangnan. They just wiped out the Lai family. This force is very unusual. They entered the two regions of the North and South Grand Canals, which may affect our plan. Sheng Jiangnan said in a deep voice. I talked to the person from the Paradise Palace about the Qinglang Society, and they said they would deal with it. Du Gu said for me. The Paradise Palace took action, Your Highness. With the Paradise Palace alone, the Qinglang Society probably wouldn't care about them at all. Bei Yusheng frowned and said, those people will appear with the Jingle Palace to meet the Qinglang Society. Du Gu said for me. Hearing this, Bei Yusheng's face rose. Your Highness, it is rumored that the Qinglang Society is extremely overbearing. If they take action now, will it cause something unexpected? I'm afraid Zhu Pingsheng has been looking for them for these years. Once something unexpected happens, I'm afraid Zhu Pingsheng will find clues. Bei Yusheng frowned and said, if they come forward, they probably don't care what Zhu Pingsheng can find out. The two regions of the Grand Canal are very important to us. I will meet them again and ask about their plans. While Du Guiwei was speaking, he turned back to the hall and sat on the main chair. What's the situation with Jaina? Have you found the person who took away the Xiangxing Sephora Japonica wood? Du Guiwei said. The eldest lady has found the other party's traces, and I believe she will be able to bring back the Xiangxing Sephora Japonica wood soon. Bei Yusheng replied immediately. It's not easy for the person who came to snatch the Xiangxing Sephora Japonica wood from so many people. Tell Jaina not to be careless. Du Guiwei said. Your Highness, don't worry, Zhu Xiang is following the eldest lady. I feel a little relieved if Zhu Xiang follows. Du Guiwei showed a relieved look on his face. At this time, a figure walked in from outside. Your Highness, a secret letter. The person handed the secret letter to Du Guiwei. Du Guiwei opened the secret letter and his eyes suddenly condensed. He waved his hand to let the person go. Du Guiwei handed the secret letter to Bei Yusheng who was standing aside. Bei Yusheng saw the secret letter and frowned. The demon sect's earth concubine, she appeared at this time to help us get in touch with the Jiangnan Huangfu family? Bei Yusheng said in a deep voice. How could this earth concubine get in touch with the Jiangnan Huangfu family? Bei Yusheng frowned. No matter how she got in touch with the Jiangnan Huangfu family, it is rumored that Huangfu Tiance of the Huangfu family was defeated by Ziziao Feng of the Qinglang Society with one sword. The Huangfu family's momentum has plummeted. I believe that if we can get in touch with the Huangfu family, then our layout in the Jiangnan region can be carried out. Du Guiwei said. Follow up this matter in person. Du Guiwei then ordered. I understand. Bei Yusheng took the order. At this moment, in a dense forest outside Hainan City, Liao Russian, who was dressed in black and wearing a mask, was being stopped by someone. Hand over the Xiangxing Sephora Japonica wood, and I may be able to let you leave safely. A woman in a purple dress looked at Liao Russian and said. It was Du Guyan, the woman of Du Guiwei. There was also a man in a black robe next to her. The man had an ordinary face and held a black long stick in his hand. He looked at Liao Russian with cold eyes. This man was Zhu Xiang, the commander of the guards of the general's palace. Boom. When the purple-clothed woman's voice fell, a terrifying black true energy burst out from his body, and the black long stick in his hand exuded a heavy force. The two forces pressed towards Liao Russian at the same time. Liao Russian was stunned. The true energy in his body burst out to counteract this pressure. He looked at Zhu Xiang with a serious look. It is rumored that Liu Hie of the general's mansion is the third best fighter under Du Gui. Your strength is much higher than that of Liu Hie, Liao Russian said to Zhu Xiang. After obtaining the Xianxing Sephora Japonica wood, Liao Russian successfully entered the state of concentration. He also eliminated all the hidden dangers of his previous fantasy infinite, and his strength increased greatly. But facing this Zhu Xiang, he actually felt a kind of pressure. This Zhu Xiang's strength may have reached the top level of concentration in the sea. It seems that you are unwilling to hand it over. Zhu Xiang heard Russian's words, and his eyes turned cold. The divine power on his body burst out. A shadow of black snow appeared behind him. Combined with the posture of Zhu Xiang holding the stick at this moment, the whole person is like a black demon god. Seeing this, Liao Russian was shocked. He didn't expect that the opponent's divine power was actually a black snow shadow. One stick, snow shadow sky. Boom. Without waiting for Liao Russian to react, Zhu Xiang took the lead and struck out with a long stick in his hand. Black icy power appeared on the long stick and instantly enveloped Liao Russian, trying to freeze Liao Russian and then kill him with one blow. Chapter 896. Swordmaster takes action. Sword shadows and stick shadows clash. Dreamless and boundless. Liao Russian was awed in his heart, and he shouted in a low voice, and the dreamless and boundless true ki in his body burst out. However, the true ki that burst out was instantly shattered by the surrounding cold air. In the blink of an eye, the whole person was covered by a layer of cold air. You just stepped into the divine power, and you can't resist my cold air at all. Zhu Xiang made a move with a cold expression. The speed of the long stick in his hand falling did not change. Boom. At this moment, a huge sword shadow appeared behind Liao Russian. The sword shadow tore through the cold air and collided with Zhu Xiang's long stick. Boom. The two forces collided. Zhu Xiang stepped back and looked behind Liao Russian. A figure in a black robe, dragging a huge long sword in his hand, slowly came towards this side. The tip of the long sword rubbed against the ground, emitting bursts of sparks. The general's palace is really overbearing. The Xianxing Sephora wood is not something from your general's palace. It is obtained by those who are destined to get it. You have been chasing it. The figure who appeared said in a cold voice. Boom. As he spoke, Liao Russian, who was covered by cold air, shook off the ice on his body, but his breath was disordered. Why didn't you take action earlier and wait for me to be frozen? He complained to Jiang Zun in his heart. The person who came was Jiang Zun, who came with Liao Russian. It seems that you are not alone. I'm doing things in the general's palace. Why should I care about other people's eyes? Hand over the Xianxing Sephora Japonica wood, and you can leave safely. Zhu Xiang said in a cold voice. His tone was still domineering. How arrogant. Jiang Zun's eyes suddenly turned cold and deep. A strong sword intent appeared on his body, and the sword intent was pervasive. Under the influence of the sword intent, the surrounding airflow gathered densely and crushed towards Zhu Xiang's body. The airflow with the sword intent was extremely sharp. He had not thought of confronting the general's palace for a Xianxing Sephora Japonica wood. They came to the South China Sea, not to fight with the general's palace. But Zhu Xiang's arrogance made Jiang Zun intend to attack with all his strength. What a strong sword intent. Zhu Xiang sensed the sword intent that was enveloping him, and his heart condensed. He raised his hand and sent Du Guyan, who was beside him, out of the range of the sword intent. Boom. He stepped forward. He clenched the long stick in his hand. A stick shadow appeared above his head. The stick shadow was covered with a layer of black frost. Boom. The long stick in his hand fell down. The sound was terrible, and the earth shook, and layers of black cold air flowed from the long stick, and together enveloped Jiang Zun. Sword out, sword broken. Jiang Zun raised the long sword in his hand. The sword energy in the long sword soared into the sky, and this soaring sword energy carried a killing and tyranny. As the lord of the sword casting city, Jiang Zun intended to become the leader of the martial arts world and command the martial arts world, but he never became one. Born in this world, he changed his mind, that is, to make himself stronger and stronger. Especially when he knew that Ren Qianxing stepped into the Shandan gate and left. He was a little yearning. But now although he has reached the top level of sea concentration, he has not found a way to go further. If the heavenly gate appeared, he would not be able to cut it and leave. Bang! The sword light collided with the stick shadow. The surrounding space exploded under these two forces, and the air was distorted. Very good. Seeing this, Zhu Xiang's eyes became fierce, and the cold air in his body surged out layer by layer, covering the black long stick in his hand. Boom. He blasted out with another stick. The black long stick carried a terrifying cold air, and in an indescribable fierce posture, it blasted towards the sword master. The air solidified instantly under the cooperation of this black stick shadow and cold air. The pupils of the sword master became sharp. The sword energy in his body continued to surge out, and he raised the long sword he held and slashed it with one sword. Qinglang slash. The surging sword energy, after bursting out, turned into a huge dragon shadow. The dragon shadow roared, turned into a sword light and whistled out, and shook fiercely with the stick shadow. Boom. The extremely violent windstorm raged. The stick shadow was repelled, and the dragon shadow transformed by the sword light also disappeared. I didn't expect such a master to appear in my South China Sea. I really want to see who you are. Seeing this, Zhu Xiang's eyes flashed with golden light. Third level, stick shadow. Zhu Xiang shouted, raised the long stick in his hand, and blasted out. 3 stick shadows appeared and enveloped Jiang Zun. Jiang Zun's eyes became cold. Just now, he was in a defensive posture, but this Zhu Xiang had a tendency to be relentless. Boom. The sword energy on his body burst out. A huge sword shadow appeared behind him. The sword shadow emerged, and Jiang Zun's momentum increased, and he instantly slashed out 3 swords. Colliding with the stick shadow. When the sword shadow collided, Jiang Zun's figure rushed out violently, and the sword energy on his body was filled. Sword body, 5th level. Jiang Zun shouted, and 5 sword shadows appeared in his body, which merged with his own body. Let his own strength be amplified. This is a move he created, based on Helion Bei's clone magic shadow, to match his divine power. 5 sword shadows merged, a sword slashed out, and the world seemed to tremble violently. Wherever the sword light passed, huge cracks in the air spread out. It collided with the stick shadow, and the stick shadow shattered under the sword shadow. A sword shattered the stick shadow. The sword master's figure did not change at all. A dragon roar emerged, and a dragon shadow rushed out, shattering the surrounding cold air, and heading towards Zhu Xiang. One stick to shock the sky. Seeing this, Zhu Xiang shouted in a low voice. He blasted out with the long stick in his hand. The sky-shattering stick shadow collided with the dragon shadow and was shattered. Zhu Xiang's expression changed. Heavenly stick, 9 layers of heaven. Boom. Zhu Xiang burst out with his strongest attack, and the 9 stick shadows merged into one, and collided with the dragon shadow. Boom. The energy surged. Zhu Xiang's figure was shocked and retreated, and his eyes became gloomy. The sword master slashed the opponent with one blow, and the sword energy on his body became more intense. He clenched the long sword in his hands with both hands. He slashed out again. A huge sword light slashed directly at Zhu Xiang. Zhu Xiang used his stick to block. Bang. His body was hit back again, and the extremely sharp sword energy poured into his body. The blood in his body rolled. Seeing this, Jiang Zun shot out, and the long sword in his hand violently slashed at the opponent at a very fast speed. Zhu Xiang hurriedly used his stick to block. The black stick and the long sword collided. The sword energy tore through the cold air. It kept slashing on the black stick in Zhu Xiang's hand. The sword energy kept eroding the wrist of Zhu Xiang holding the black stick. This state suddenly changed from the previous attack state to defense. The speed of the long sword in Jiang Zun's hand was getting faster and faster, and the power was getting stronger and stronger. Roar. Faced with this state, Zhu Xiang roared, burst out a burst of power, shook Jiang Zun's long sword away, and his body retreated. Jiang Zun's eyes condensed, and his feet stepped on the ground. His body soared into the sky like a rock, and the sword energy in his body surged out. He held the long sword with both hands. A sword slashed out. A huge sword energy went towards Zhu Xiang. Seeing this, Zhu Xiang's face changed drastically. He took a step forward, a low roar came out from his throat, and a dazzling black light burst out from his hand. The long stick came out. Boom. 2 forces collided. The long stick's energy was shattered, and Zhu Xiang's body was shaken back. Puff. A mouthful of blood spurted out. Kill you, right the dragon. Seeing this, the sword master's eyes became ferocious, and he shouted low, and the long sword in his hand slashed out, and the sword appeared with a dragon shadow, and went towards Zhu Xiang. Seeing this, Zhu Xiang's eyes changed again, and a mouthful of blood spurted out. Blood sacrifice, stick the world. With a low shout, the blood in his body boiled, and condensed with the true energy, and a huge stick shadow appeared. Boom. A stick came out. The huge stick shadow collided with the dragon shadow that was rushing over, and tearing everything apart. Boom. A thunderous rumble sounded, echoing between heaven and earth. Zhu Xiang was knocked back, using the long stick in his hand to support his body. Puff. A mouthful of blood spurted out. Jian Zun was also knocked back. His blood was surging, and about to spurt out, but he suppressed it. He wanted to move forward, and continue to attack, killing Zhu Xiang, but suddenly his expression changed. He came to Ru Shen's side, grabbed Ru Shen, and fled away. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 897, The Ambition of the Concubine, The Change of the Huangfu Family. After Jian Zun left, a figure in a green robe appeared where Jian Zun and the others were fighting. Yes, Steward Zhu. The man was startled when he saw Zhu Xiang and wanted to step forward, but when he saw Du Guyan, he immediately bowed to Du Guyan. Meet the young lady. Palace Master Fang, go chase him. Du Guyan said. No. At this time, Zhu Xiang said. The man who came is not simple. Let's go back to see the general first. Brother Fang, thanks to your appearance this time, otherwise, I might be in danger. Zhu Xiang thanked the other party. The green-robed man, Fang Kong, the master of the Thunder Palace outside Nanhei City, was weaker than him. Chasing the other party, even if the other party's blood and ki were unstable, there was no chance of winning. Young lady, Steward Zhu, I will send you two back to the city first. Fang Kong said hurriedly. He just came here when he sensed the battle here. He just came to investigate the situation, not to fight with the other party. Chase the opponent. The opponent can injure Zhu Xiang. Then he must not be an opponent. One place. Jian Zun put Ru Shen down, and a layer of frost appeared on his body. After a moment, the frost on his body disappeared. The last stick can actually take the opportunity to invade my body with cold air. It's really not easy. It seems that it will take some time to completely expel the cold air in my body. Jian Zun said in a deep voice. If I don't come to the South China Sea, I won't find Du Guiwu's forces here. Ru Shen said in a deep voice. Before coming, he didn't take Du Guiwu seriously, but after arriving in the South China Sea, it changed. Du Guiwu gathered all the major forces in the South China Sea, and some overseas forces are also vaguely under his control. It is not an exaggeration to say that Du Guiwu is the king of the South China Sea region. If we try our best to find me, we may be discovered soon. What do you think? Jian Zun looked at Ru Shen and said. We need to take down a force in the South China Sea and use it as a breakthrough. Ru Shen said. You actually said that. You have chosen a target. Jian Zun said. Yes, I have already chosen the target. That is Wu Jianmen. After the death of Wu Jianmen, leader Finglangju, Wu Jianmen has not yet chosen a leader. If the person we support becomes the leader of Wu Jianmen, perhaps we can know more about Du Guiwu. Liao Russian said. The person we support, Du Guiwu, has a strong control over the South China Sea. I'm afraid that the person we support will rebel at that time. Jian Zun said in a deep voice. Don't worry about this. I exchanged some poisonous insects from the 5 poison boys, which can devour people's souls. Let him not have a rebellious heart. Liao Russian said. Who did you choose? Luo Yunlei, the third son of Wu Jianmen Finglangju. Liao Russian said. Luo Yunlei, he seems to be the most popular in Wu Jianmen. Of course, we must choose the strongest one, so that we can better control Wu Jianmen. Liao Russian said, then let's set off to Wu Jianmen. Jian Zun said. The two left quickly. Nanhai City. The general's palace. Du Guiwei looked at Zhu Xiang who was returning, walked in front of him, and put his palm on his shoulder. A stream of qi rushed into Zhu Xiang's body, helping him to remove the sword qi in his body. After a while, Zhu Xiang's complexion recovered a little. How is the other party's injury? Du Guiwei said, the other party's injury is not serious. My cold air should not affect the other party. They should not only rob the Xiangxing Sephora Japonica wood, but also have other purposes. Otherwise, with their strength, they should have left the Nanhai area at this moment. Zhu Xiang said in a deep voice. Is that so? Then we must find them. Du Guiwei said. Subordinates will definitely find them out. Zhu Xiang said fiercely. He wanted to fight with Jian Zun again. At this stage, the Nanhai area cannot have any problems. You go down to recover from your injuries first. Du Guiwei said in a deep voice. Yes. Zhu Xiang bowed and left the hall. When Zhu Xiang left the hall, Bei Yushan walked in from outside. Your Highness, I met with the people from the Earth Concubine. They want to use our power to take down the Huangfu family. Bei Yushan said in a deep voice. Use our power to take down the Huangfu family? Didn't the letter just now say that we would cooperate with the Huangfu family? How can it be said that we would help her take down the Huangfu family? What does this Earth Concubine want to do? Hearing Bei Yushan's words, Du Guiwei said with cold eyes. Your Highness, the Earth Concubine is now the wife of Huangfu Fiang of the Huangfu family and has already controlled Huangfu Fiang. She wants Huangfu Fiang to become the head of the Huangfu family and control the Huangfu family through Huangfu Fiang. Bei Yushan said. What? Hearing this news, Du Guiwei's eyes condensed. Heaven Concubine, Earth Concubine, the leader of the demon sect back then, the two concubines around him are indeed not simple. Du Guiwei said in a deep voice. My lord, what should we do about this? Promise him that you will secretly take someone to Jiangnan. If she can control the Huangfu family, it will be extremely beneficial to us. Du Gu said to me. In a wine shop on an official road in Jiangnan, Huangfu Tiance, dressed in brocade, was holding a glass of wine to toast Zi Xiaofeng. Brother Zi's swordsmanship really makes me admire him. The swordsmanship in the world is full of sword energy, but Brother Zi's swordsmanship is simple and simple. The long sword in his hand has no sword energy, but he can cut through the Shianaigis and Sutra that I have practiced for decades. I really admire him. At that time, Zi Xiaofeng took action and defeated Huangfu Tiance with one sword. However, Huangfu Tiance saw a new martial arts in Zi Xiaofeng's swordsmanship. Zi Xiaofeng, who had been following him, discussed martial arts with Zi Xiaofeng, and gradually the two became close friends. Brother Huangfu, you are too kind. Let's drink. Zi Xiaofeng raised his glass. The two drank it all at the same time. Suddenly, their expressions changed. They looked at each other. Really good wine. The two continued to drink. After a while, the two walked out of the wine shop. In a forest, the two stopped. Figures appeared around them, and several black-clothed men wearing black robes and masks surrounded them. They have been poisoned. Kill them. The leader shouted, and led people to kill Huangfu Tiance and Zi Xiaofeng. The two snorted coldly. At the same time, a water column sprayed out of their mouths, and the water column dispersed and turned into qi, heading towards the several black-clothed men. TSK. TSK. These black-clothed men were instantly pierced through the body by the qi transformed from the water column. You are not poisoned, the leader said as he looked at the place where the chest was pierced by qi. You dare to attack us with such a trick? Huangfu Tiance snorted coldly, and his figure flashed in front of the black-clothed man who led the black-clothed man. Who are you? Why are you attacking us? But when Huangfu Tiance's voice fell, the black-clothed man foamed at the mouth. The same was true for the other injured people. Huangfu Tiance's eyes narrowed. He checked the man in black, and saw a mark on him. His face changed. A member of the Huangfu family. How is this possible? Huangfu Tiance said in disbelief. Then his face changed. Oh no, something happened to the Huangfu family. Chapter 898 Character Shen Lang. Half-step transformation, Azure Dragon bloodline. Has something happened to the Huangfu family? Zi Xiaofeng was slightly startled. Is it possible that someone is pretending to be someone from your Huangfu family? Zi Xiaofeng asked in a deep voice. No, the marks on their bodies and the poison that just killed them are all unique to my Huangfu family. Huangfu Tians frowned and said, they are here to kill me. No, they are not here to kill you, but to kill me. Huangfu Tians shook his head. Brother Zi, I want to return to the Huangfu family. I wonder if Brother Zi will come with me. Huangfu Tians looked at Zi Xiaofeng. Judging from the current situation, the Huangfu family has a big problem. Bringing back a master may help solve the problem of the Huangfu family. If I go, I'm afraid it will cause trouble. At that time, people will think that I, King Longhu, have touched your Huangfu family. Zi Xiaofeng said in a deep voice. Don't care about other people's eyes, not to mention that outsiders don't know your identity, Brother Zi. Huangfu Tians said. Then I will go with Brother Huangfu. I also want to see who is plotting against the Huangfu family, Zi Xiaofeng said. Let's go. The two did not stay here and headed towards Yichen where the Huangfu family was. Not long after the two left, a black figure appeared where they had just fought. Huangfu Tians, you should have discovered their identities. When you return to the Huangfu family, there will be a good show waiting for you. The figure looked at the corpse on the ground with a sneer in his eyes, turned around and left quickly. Another place searching. The people of the Huangfu family want to kill Huangfu Tians. It seems that something has really happened to the Huangfu family. Su Chen was a little surprised when he received the message from Zi Xiaofeng. Has the Qinglang Society found out about the changes in the Huangfu family? Su Chen asked. No changes have been found in the Huangfu family for the time being. Yuan Suan said. No changes have been found in the Huangfu family? Su Chen frowned. But according to Mr. Zhuge's calculations, Huangfu Tians' return to the Huangfu family may cause something big to happen. Yuan Suan said. Is that so? It seems that the changes in the martial arts world have intensified. Have you found the whereabouts of Xianfei? Su Chen thought of the Xianfei of the demon sect, and the power that the Xianfei of the demon sect had previously displayed was extraordinary. Disappeared without a trace. But I got the news that the people of the Jiangnan Pacification Division found Qin Beiming and took him away. I'm afraid Xianfei should be unable to sit still, and she will reveal her whereabouts at that time. Hearing Yuan Suan talking about the Jiangnan Pacification Division taking Qin Beiming away, Su Chen frowned slightly. The leader of the Jiangnan Pacification Division. It is rumored that he was someone who had stayed with Emperor Zhao, and his strength is extremely extraordinary. Tai Zongtang from the capital had sent a letter earlier, but he said that the power around Emperor Zhao was very strong. From this point, it can be seen that the leader of the Jiangnan Pacification Division is extraordinary. Emperor Zhao has such strength, why doesn't he suppress the entire martial arts world? Su Chen was very puzzled about this. Maybe I should go to the capital. Su Chen thought to himself. While Su Chen and the others were talking, Yuan Suan's expression suddenly changed slightly, and a secret letter appeared in his palm. He opened the secret letter. His eyes moved slightly. Yuan Xianhun, the head of the Jiangnan Pacification Division, has an appointment with the second dragon leader. Su Chen's expression also changed when he heard the news. At this time, the Jiangnan Pacification Division wanted to meet Li Zunhun, the second dragon leader of the Qinglang Society, probably because of instructions from the capital. It seems that Emperor Zhao can't sit still, Su Chen said in a deep voice. Murong Xianan was one of the 4 general envoys of the Xianjian division in Jiangnan. He was killed by the Xianfei. It is normal for Emperor Zhao to be unable to sit still. Anything else? Liao Russian sent a message that Du Guiwei has a strong control over the South China Sea area, and it is suspected that there is someone behind him supporting him. They are preparing to take down Wu Jianmen to see if they can get close to Du Guiwei. Yuan Suan replied. Our strength in the South China Sea area is still too far behind, and we need to increase it. Thinking of this, Su Chen took a look at the lottery card on his body. Because of the emergence of the trading platform, previously, various ancient books and treasures were sent to Su Chen one after another. Su Chen's lottery cards have now reached 12. Take half first, Su Chen thought. He drew as he thought. Obtained a condensing spirit pill. Obtained a star crystal exclusive to Miranfu. Obtained the skill 1 Iron Shianju exclusive to Shangwen Jinhong. Obtained a 1 Iron Blood Pill exclusive to Shangwen Jinhong. Obtained EK skills exclusive to Xiao Siwu. Obtained a drop of Wild Dragon Blood exclusive to Kao Feng. Su Chen's eyes lit up slightly. Check the star crystal, a crystal condensed after the death of a blood star body. Absorbing it can obtain a certain amount of star power. With the help of a certain amount of star power, you have the opportunity to obtain the star blood in the crystal. 1 Iron Shianju, a fire attributed skill, can be used with 1 Iron Blood Pill to condense a trace of 1 Iron Blood to form a special bloodline. Yi Ke is Li Zunhuan's disciple and is also a figure of the third era in Gilong Jianghu. He is Li Zunhuan's disciple. He was also the person Xiao Siwu wanted to kill in his lifetime. Of course, Xiao Siwu's strength before was nothing in front of Yi Ke. Now that Yi Ke's cultivation was fully instilled into Xiao Siwu's strength might be able to reach the top level of the Sea of Concentration. His aptitude would certainly be improved. The last drop of the blood of the wild dragon was a drop of blood from the ancient wild dragon. It could stimulate the blood of the wild dragon to a certain extent, which could greatly improve Kao Feng's aptitude. The remaining 6 cards Su Chen thought about it and drew them directly. Get the character Shen Lang. Get a concentration pill. Get the crazy body, the exclusive character Yan Shizhen. Get the cold air of heaven and earth, the exclusive character Zeman Chuksu. Get a 1000-year-old blood ginseng. Get a heart of Buddha of heaven and earth, the exclusive character Wuha. What? Seeing this, Su Chen opened his eyes wide. Judging from the name, it was something extraordinary. There was another character, Shen Language. Shen Lang was the first creator of the ancient dragon world. Su Chen did not have too much expectation for Shen Language, because the characters that appear now have greatly increased their strength and have obtained a lot of resources, not at the beginning. If Su Chen could draw Shen Lang at the beginning, he would be happy, but now he is just so-so. Let's look at Shen Lang's introduction first. Shen Lang, a character in the unofficial history of the swordsman, the son of Shen Xianjun, the king of Jiazhou, and the father of Arfei. He is the best in martial arts and wisdom, and is also the invincible strongman in the first 10 years of Gulong. Su Chen didn't care much about these introductions. He wanted to see Shen Lang's strength. When Su Chen saw the other party's strength, his eyes were shocked. Because Shen Lang's strength was actually half a step into the realm of transformation, and he also had Blue Dragon bloodline. This is the chosen one. Su Chen could only say this. Originally, he thought that Shen Lang was at most similar to Li Zunhuan, but he didn't expect that he was really specially cared for and was so strong. Crazy body, a physique that can be possessed by demons. The cold air of heaven and earth is a condensed cold air in heaven and earth. After it is integrated into the body, the sword energy and cold air can freeze everything. The Buddha heart of heaven and earth. Those who have this Buddha heart will make rapid progress in practicing Buddhism and have the appearance of becoming a Buddha. Monk Wuha has such a heart of Buddha that I'm afraid all Buddhists will regard him as their master. Chapter 899. Li Chenhao is unrivaled in his dominance, and the expedition begins. Su Chen felt that he was bursting with the physique of a European emperor. This is going to be a flying rhythm. The position of the Grand Dragon leader of the Qinglang Society has been determined, and it is Shen Lang. The founder of the Qinglang Society in Gulong's novels is Shen Language. It is normal for Shen Lang to become the Grand Dragon leader of the Qinglang Society, but it's a bit hard for Guan Yushan. Guan Yushan has obtained a trace of the true blood of the Heavenly Dragon, but has not yet condensed the blood. Why didn't you add more strength to the Guan General Envoy? Now Dugu is going to make trouble in the 2 regions of the Grand Canal. Su Chen thought to himself. But it seems that I have to work hard myself. My subordinates are getting more and more powerful. It seems that the interception of luck needs to be strengthened. Su Chen thought to himself. Suddenly, a stream of luck poured into Su Chen's body. The dragon shadow point that had condensed in Su Chen's body before made a dragon roar, and golden light continued to emerge. Who is this? And he has occupied some power again. Now there is movement, and it seems that only Li Chenhao is moving. Su Chen guessed that it was Li Chenhao who was moving. At this time, the Tingzhou area is one of the areas where the North-South Canal runs through. Tingzhou area, Yun County, Yuncheng. The Tingzhou area is governed by the 13 sects, and Yuncheng is the territory of Xianhuan sect, one of the 13 sects. At this time, in the Xianhuan sect's main hall, Li Chenzhou was sitting on the main chair, with an endless domineering aura covering the entire hall. Since he cultivated the emperor's domineering body, Li Chenzhou's domineering aura has been growing stronger. Below him, stood a middle-aged woman in red. The middle-aged woman had a beautiful face, and exuded a unique charm. It was the leader of the Xianhuan sect, Huan Lanian. But at this moment, Huan Lanian's aura was chaotic, and blood was flowing from the corners of his mouth. He was trying his best to resist the pressure emanating from Li Chenzhou. In addition to the leader Huan Lanian, there were several women in the hall, all of whom were stained with blood, and had a weak aura. These were the elders of the Xianhuan sect. Now that the Xianhuan sect has been taken down by this seat, if you don't surrender, this seat will send you off. Li Chenzhou's voice was cold and stern. Li Chenzhou, your Qinglang Society is a killer organization. Why are you trying to gain power now? Huan Lanian looked at Li Chenzhou and said, who said that my Qinglang Society is just a killer organization? The world is big. Why can't my Qinglang Society sweep the world? Li Chenzhou said coldly. Sweep the world? Hearing Li Chenzhou's words, Huan Lanian's expression changed. Li Chenzhou, you are strong, but the world of the Great Zhao is not as simple as you think. The Zhao Emperor will not allow you to expand your power in the world like this. In the hall, a woman with blood on the corner of her mouth said sternly. The Zhao Emperor can control the world with martial arts. Why can't my Qinglang Society? What's more, the world is changing. Why do you think he will take down your Xianhuan sect at this time? That's because your Xianhuan sect is close to the North and South canals. Do you think Dugu really wants to do business by opening up the North and South canals for me? I'm afraid he just wants to use the North and South canals to sweep the world. Hearing Li Chenzhou's words, the expressions of the people in the hall changed drastically. Okay, I don't want to repeat what I said a second time. Submit and live, don't submit and die. Li Chenzhou's cold voice echoed in the hall. Huan Lanian sensed the murderous intent emanating from Li Chenzhou. We are willing to submit, and from now on, Xianhuan sect will be loyal to the master and the Qinglang Society. Huan Lanian bowed and said, okay, you will be honored for your choice today. Prepare the ancient books and some special treasures of Xianhuan sect for me. Fang Yingkan, you will follow up on this matter. Li Chenzhou said to Fang Yingkan, who was standing aside. Yes. Fang Yingkan accepted the order. In addition to this matter, Huan Lanian, I want you to invite the other 12 sects in the Tingzhou area to come to a banquet. As for the reason, I believe you can think of a way. Li Chenzhou said. Hearing Li Chenzhou's words, Huan Lanian's face changed. This is to take down all the 13 sects in Tingzhou. Are there any problems? Li Chenzhou said. No problem. I will write to the other 12 sect leaders, inviting them to come and attend the inauguration ceremony of the new leader of our Xianhuan sect. Huan Lanian said. Okay, you guys go back first and recover from your injuries. Li Chenzhou waved his hand. Yes. Huan Lanian led his men out of the hall. Ya Jiahu's sword, anyone with a different intention will be killed. Li Chenzhou said to a dark place in the hall. In the dark, a shadow was shaking. 3 dragon heads. There is a letter from Jiangnan saying that someone from the Paradise Palace wants to see you, and wants to know where we are. Zhu Yaran walked in at this time and said. Someone from the Paradise Palace wants to see me? Hearing this, Li Chenzhou frowned slightly. The Paradise Palace is in Jiangnan, and he is now in the Tingzhou area, and has no intersection with the Paradise Palace. Someone from the Paradise Palace wants to see him at this time. What do you want to do? It is not convenient to disclose the news in Yuncheng now. Yan Nanfei is in Jichen next to the river, a day's journey from here. Let Jiangnan reply to them, and tell them to meet at the Xianan Tower in Jichen. Li Chenzhou said, after thinking for a moment. Yes. Zhu Yaran took the order. Jiangnan, the residents of the Paradise Palace, Lang Pizi, the palace master of the Paradise Palace, received a reply from the Qinglang Society. Jichen, Xianan Tower. Did the Qinglang Society take over Jichen? Spread the news first. Line Peasy immediately ordered people to spread the news. The capital. The Northern Pacification Division. In a house, Mireng Fu showed a happy expression on his face, looking at the star Yuan crystal in his hand. If I absorb this, my strength will definitely be greatly improved. It's really the right time. Mireng Fu muttered. Recently, all the giants of the Capital Pacification Division have abdicated overnight. New giants will be produced from the North and South Pacification Divisions, and the capable ones will take the position. As long as you are strong and have someone recommend you, you can become a candidate for the Pacification Division giant. Mireng Fu was not sure before. Now that he has the star crystal, he should be qualified to compete for the candidate of the Zenfu Division. Step into the room. Prepare to find a place to retreat. First integrate the star crystal into the body. Just when Mireng Fu was about to step out of the room, a figure rushed over. It was one of Mireng Fu's men. Commander Mireng, it's bad. The 7th Prince Liu was killed. The man who came said hurriedly. Hearing this, Mireng Fu's expression changed. You mean the 7th Prince was killed? How did you get this news? Mireng Fu couldn't help asking. The people of the capital Zenfu Division have blocked the 7th Prince's mansion. The man said. The capital is going to be in chaos. The 7th Prince is one of the princes that Emperor Zhao has taken a fancy to. It's not a good sign to die at this time. Pay close attention to the movements of the 7th Prince's mansion. I'll go see the 12th Prince first. Mireng Fu is the 12th Prince's man. At this time, he needed to meet the 12th Prince. Chapter 900. Emperor Zhao is angry. Zhu Ping is alive. The mansion of the 7th Prince. Teams of people from the Pacification Division were in his mansion. Everyone in the mansion of the 7th Prince was shackled and gathered in the courtyard of the mansion. Mu Zhangtang, one of the deputy commanders of the Capital Pacification Division. He was also a man of the 7th Prince. At this moment, his eyes were cold and his face was quite ugly. There was also a one-armed swordsman beside him. It was Yan Zishan, the former retainer of the 12th Prince, and now one of the deputy commanders of the Pacification Division. Yan Zishan's face was also extremely solemn. The 12th Prince had just met the 7th Prince a few days ago. But the 7th Prince is dead now. If any of you know Gongsun Mingjing, and there are other clues to the two people who left, I will decide to let you go. If you don't tell me, you will all be dragged into the Pacification Division prison. When you want to get out, I'm afraid you won't be able to get out alive. Mu Zhangtang said with a cold expression. Everyone in the mansion of the 7th Prince has gathered, and now only 3 people have disappeared. It was Gongsun Mingjing, and Liu Liner and Luo Chan from the Xianine sect. They must find these 3 people. Bang! Just as he finished speaking, the door of the 7th Prince's mansion was opened, and Mireng Qingshan, dressed in a tight suit, walked in with his men. Seeing the newcomers, Mu Zhangtang and Yan Zishan's expressions relaxed. The 7th Prince was dead, and it was quite difficult for the two of them to deal with it. And now that the big boss of the Zenfu Division has withdrawn, there is no big boss in the Zenfu Division. They have no one to report to. Now that Mireng Qingshan is here, they have a backbone. Meet your highness. The two immediately stepped forward to salute. Take me to see the body of the 7th Prince. Mireng Qingshan said. Your highness, the body of the 7th Prince is in the side room in the backyard, and the subordinates and others have not moved the body. Mu Zhangtang said, and took Mireng Qingshan to the backyard. In a side room, the 7th Prince was lying on the ground. His body was shriveled, and his blood and essence were sucked out. The whole person was like a dried corpse. When the body of the 7th Prince was found in the mansion, all the blood in the 7th Prince's body had been sucked out, said Mu Zhangtang. The second elder of the Chengsheng Society, Gu Xianhan, did it. Seeing this, Mireng Qingshan's eyes condensed. Last time, she was almost taken away by Gu Xianhan. Gu Xianhan wanted to check whether they had blood in their bodies. Are all the people in the 7th Prince's mansion here? Mireng Qingshan said. 3 people left. One is Gongsun Mingjing who was beside the 7th Prince, and there are 2 people, a man and a woman who came to see the 7th Prince recently, said Mu Zhangtang. Find these 3 people, and be sure to bring them back. Take the body of the 7th Prince back to the palace. Mireng Qingshan said to the attendant behind him. After saying that, he turned and left. Outside the mansion, Mireng Qingshan stepped on the carriage and suddenly thought of something. Go to Jinfengxiayu Tower, Mirren Chen said to the coachman, and soon Mirren Chen's carriage stopped in front of Jinfengxiayu Tower. Mirren Chen got off the carriage. This time Mirren Chen came to Jinfengxiayu Tower without hiding her identity. When she stepped into Jinfengxiayu Tower, Nalan Rangan appeared at the door. Meet His Highness King Chen. Please take me to see the Bay Building Master, Mirren Chen said. Please. Nalan Rangan took Mirren Chen to the top floor. Bei Chaofu's strength increased, and his aura began to gradually become calm. Of course, he was a little anxious. Now King Lan Club is more famous in the martial arts world, and Chyanaya Pavilion is now a little weaker. Jinfengxiayu Tower and Chyanaya Pavilion are not very powerful in the capital. But this time the power of the capital has been strengthened. A lot of things can be done. Building Master, His Highness King Chen is here. Nalan Rangan's voice sounded outside the door, and pushed the door open. Meet His Highness King Chen. Bei Chaofui invited Mirren Chen to sit down. Master Bei, you must know what happened to the 7th prince. He should have died at the hands of Gu Xianhan, the second elder of the Eternal Life Society. I came here to ask if Master Bei can find Gu Xianhan. Mirren Chen said. Gu Xianhan took action. Could he want the blood I mentioned earlier? Bei Chaofui said with a serious expression. It should be so. All the blood in my 7th brother's body has been sucked dry. Mirren Chen said. Hearing Mirren Chen's words, Bei Chaofui thought to himself that he had found the clue of Gu Xianhan, which was in the Dafan Temple of the Tantric sect, but the Dafan Temple was where the Tantric Master Xianmi was. Bei Chaofui did not investigate the Dafan Temple for the time being, fearing that he would alert the enemy. The Dafan Temple was the Buddhist temple of the Tantric sect in the capital. The power inside must be extraordinary. Previously, the power of Chyanaya Pavilion in the capital was only the two powerful Mentai Zhangtang and Yaoyu, or because of the weapons in their hands. So he was waiting for other forces to come. He had already contacted the Deputy Pavilion Master of the West Pavilion, Gu Shentong, to come strengthen the power of the capital. Now, from the overall point of view, the number of strong men in Chyanaya Pavilion is a little weaker than that of King Lan Club. There are already clues, and we are still confirming them. I believe that it will be confirmed after a while. Bei Chaofui said. He said so because he wanted to wait for Gu Shentong to come. Gu Shentong's strength is one of the strongest in Chyanaya Pavilion. Once he arrives in the capital, if he attacks the Tantric Dafan Temple, then he can get the greatest benefit. Hearing Bei Chaofui's words, a gleam of light flashed in his eyes. She came to Jinfengxiayu Tower to ask. The main reason is that Cai Zhangtang had fought with the other party's Gu Xianhan, so he must know something. Unexpectedly, Bei Chaofui really knew the other party's news. I don't know, can you reveal it? We are willing to pay, Mirren Chen said. For this matter, I need to ask Deputy Pavilion Master Tai. But Deputy Pavilion Master Tai gained something in the last battle with Gu Xianhan, and he is in seclusion. Bei Chaofui said. Hearing Bei Chaofui's words, Mirren Chen's heart moved slightly. I will prepare some rewards after I go back and come when the time comes. After saying that, Mirren Chen stood up and said goodbye. She wanted to go back to meet Zhu Pingsheng to see if she could see her father. The death of the 7th prince is a big deal. Imperial Palace. A black dragon shadow was suspended above Emperor Zhao's head, filled with a violent aura, as if to devour everything. Not far in front of him, Zhu Pingsheng was kneeling. If I don't stay in the capital, will the capital be ruined? How dare you attack the prince? Within 3 days, I want you to find Gu Xianhan. If you want to extract my blood from my offspring, I will hang his head at the gate of the capital. Emperor Zhao said in a cold tone. I will definitely find Gu Xianhan within 3 days. Zhu Pingsheng immediately accepted the order, and bowed and left the hall. When he turned around, inform He Wufeng that he has found the Changsheng Island. As long as he brings back the Changsheng secret book, no one else on the island will be left alive. The voice of Emperor Zhao sounded in his ears. Zhu Pingsheng did not stop and stepped out of the palace. Zhu Pingsheng did not return to his own palace. At the palace gate, Mirren Chen was waiting. Master Zhu, I just wanted to find you. Jinfengxiayu Tower said that they can find Gu Xianhan. Seeing Zhu Pingsheng, Mirren Chen stepped forward and said, can they find Gu Xianhan? Hearing Mirren Chen's words, Zhu Pingsheng looked calm, but he was slightly shocked in his heart. Yes, but I'm afraid we need to pay some price, Mirren Chen said. Your Majesty means that Gu Xianan's head needs to be hung at the city gate in 3 days. If we don't find it in 2 days, we will contact Jinfeng Xiaoyu Tower again, Zhu Pingsheng said. Xianaya Pavilion is now walking with Du Guiwei. He knows Du Guiwei's ambition. So Zhu Pingsheng doesn't want to have a direct contact for the time being. I have something else to do here, so I won't entertain your highness, Zhu Pingsheng said, and walked into the palace. Mirren Chen glanced at Zhu Pingsheng's back, and had no choice but to leave. As soon as he entered the palace, Zhu Pingsheng's face was gloomy. He said, have you found Yan Ruiyu of the Xian'an sect? We have found her. Okay, take me there, I will do it myself. Zhu Pingsheng's tone was cold. The last time Yan Ruiyu of the Xian'an sect attacked Mirren Chen, although he left at that time, he did not escape the pursuit. Zhu Pingsheng will personally lead people to capture Yan Ruiyu this time. If he captures Yan Ruiyu, he should be able to get some information about Gu Xianan and Hua Pingsheng. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.